I intend to go on, we are going to say Merry Christmas! Give a pause there for everyone to say hi. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Okay, yeah, we know we're a little bit early with the Merry Christmas images and the Merry Christmas hellos and the Merry Christmas giggles, but our next week's episode is going to be our New Year episode, so we can prime everything for Hexenstag. Yeah. So, obviously it's our Christmas episode and we're all dressed up for Christmassy goodness. I have a few things to mention before we get going. First, it's not only a Christmassy episode, it's kind of my birthday episode. So, if you haven't subscribed, fucking subscribe already. That's breaking the whole fucking within the first 30 seconds rule you're not meant to do. Don't fucking care. Fucking subscribe already. Yeah, it's a thing. I am also going to bring this up so you can all have a quick look at what lovely Lindsay got me. I don't know how well that's coming up in the camera. I'm just holding it hoping.
Overhead? Down a little bit.
Bring that up. That is the original piece of art from Enemy in Shadows, the first book of The Enemy Within. Lindsay contacted Ralph, who I constantly say, sorry Ralph, when I bash his other picture that's behind me. And Ralph drove all the way up to drop it off. It's so nice. So, you are a legend, Ralph.
I mean, that's not all I did. I also paid for it. Like, to be clear.
Well, you're a legend who's got a lot of our money, Ralph. You rock.
Well done, Lindsay.
Yeah.
She also picked up one of the spot art pieces
That was from
my
mum.
That's from your mum. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you,
Say thanks to
Lindsay's
Jean.
mum. Thanks, Jean. Thank you, Jean.
Thanks,
Very nice.
Jean.
So these will be going up on our walls, and you
It's
might
my
find
birthday,
that the good old painting there may pop up behind me at some point as we move forwards past into the new year. Okay, so a couple of warnings. Number one, and this is one that may not surprise many of you out there, but I am going to drop it. There is a possibility that there's going to be a loud character during the course of this session.
Jesus.
There's really only one who's very loud, but he is really loud. And now I don't know if he's actually going to make an appearance. I'm just dropping the warning now. So if you're in a headset, it's very likely there might be a boomy bit in the second half. I'm warning you now. I won't warn you again at the second half. Just warning you now.
We need to get a limiter.
No, we don't. This is cool. He's not quiet. Okay, now, having done that bit, looking forward to hopefully that occurring. We have a couple of things to say for this episode. Number one, it's not a typical episode. This is not an episode of The Enemy Within per se. This is an episode that helps frame many of the events that happen during The Enemy Within. Now, obviously, The Enemy Within doesn't have Happy Christmas Hat, so engage your imagination like we do. But... Thank you, Andy. Yeah.
Skin roll.
Like that. But this episode is going to be mostly, unlike most of our episodes, just a party. It's going to be mostly just a party. We're all going to be down here having a party. Because that's the whole point of our nice little festive episode that we're throwing out this week. Next week's is going to be really, 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 and to stress it, fucking different. Next week is going to be the what the hell happened with Ubersreich in the starter set and why did it occur the way it occurred. It's going to be the answer that we had behind the scenes while we were writing it. So that's actually going to be quite fun. I'm really looking forward to that one. Much like this week, the PCs, the players, will not be playing their standard PC characters. They're going to be playing characters that are key to those events. And during this party, they're going to be playing characters that... well, it'll become a little bit more clear exactly where the connections and relations are later, but they are certainly relevant to the overall story that we've been telling. Well, at least the characters that they play a little bit later are. The ones they start with, might not be quite what you expect. So, other than that, we obviously have some XP that we could normally do at the beginning of a session, but because we're not really doing our own characters, we'll start that off next year. Which sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it? Just warn you all that over the Christmas period, we'll be posting our extra episodes that we've been taping for the Tales of Ubersreich 2. I would like to say that we have done everyone but Sages so far, and we have a couple of extras that we're going to do afterwards as well, because people have got some pickup things that they'd like to do, particularly given one person... I'm not pointing at anywhere in particular. You can't tell who I'm pointing at, but he's got his hands clasped across his face right now. Yeah, he's seen a thing. He's seen a thing, and he wants to tell everything about the thing he's seen. That didn't sound good. So let's just move off that one really quickly. And do we have anything we'd all like to say before we go?
And he's got a bottle of Jack Daniels. It might be out of the camera shot, but just so everyone is aware.
It's Christmas. This was my gift. This was my gift from Kath. They come in pints.
What could possibly go wrong?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
This is gin.
just potato juice for me.
Going to be a great episode. All right, are we all good? We ready to go? Right, so without any further ado, let's head into episode 25. And I'm going to leave that line until a little bit later. Let's just go.
Jingle jangle.
Was high over the Barren Hills. Two figures were making their way gently down. One of them, old, bent slightly, with feathers across his shoulders, a short beard, grey hair, and to the other side a child. He limps very badly. Prayer scrolls are wrapped around his right leg. The older man holds a staff as he makes his way down towards a great spread of forest before them. Beyond that forest can be seen the tall towers of a monastery, a town hall, and a few other taller buildings. The older man turns to the child and says, "Don't worry, it won't take us long to get you to the orphanage. Not long now. And besides, you'll make some new friends." The boy looks up and goes, I'm not sure I'm nervous. And he says, "Don't worry at all. You're not the first child I've taken there, and you certainly won't be the last." 3 hours later, the old man arrives at the monastery. There are monks everywhere, each and every last one of them dressed in black with worn out fringing across the edges. The monastery itself is a 5-story affair, very tall. It houses well over 500 monks, many of which were once warrior priests who have ranged across the Barren Hills, attempting to find out exactly what the source of the curse is there and how to best resolve it. Children run around on the outside. Some of the older monks are working away in the garden. Many of the younger ones already have their tops off. It's altogether too hot. Their cassocks are pulled down and they're sweating. The boy looks around nervously as the older man puts his hand behind his shoulders and says, "Don't worry, just push yourself forward, it'll be fine." One of the monks sees the arrival, turns round, looks up, waves, and says, "It's been altogether too long since you were last here." And he calls out in return, "Yes, well, I meant to come earlier, but we had some issue on the road. Sadly, one of the boys died." He makes the sign of the hammer, and the monk returns to his work, shaking his head in disappointment. He clearly knows his way here, and the older man makes his way through a big arch into an open courtyard. On the inside, almost 100 children are at play. Monks are making their way around. Some are praying beside a large hammer at the far side. One of those, in turn, turns round and goes, "Oh, I see you've made it back." And he smiles. Yes, he says, "I have another one. Come forward. He says, "Let me guess, Sigma?" "Yes, he didn't have a name, so another Sigma for you." And he pushes forward. The boy says, "Oh, well, I was sometimes called Fetch It. Like that. A bell rings. Ah, we've timed it well. Why have we timed it well? He replies, food. And all the children are already up, scurrying off. Monk smiles as they pass by, some of them running. He goes, slow down, slow. They pelt past. The old man comes over to the monk and says, so, you're a brother now? He says, Brother Sigma. I see. How long ago was it that I brought you here? And he says, 14 years now. 14 years. 14 years. 14 years. Was it really that long ago? You'll be wanting to... Yes, as always. Are there any that I haven't seen? Yeah, there's a few. I'll get them sent out to you after lunch. After lunch, the old man is at rest on a wooden stump. He's rubbing at one of his legs. Beside him, he's laid a large book that was sitting behind his robes at the back. He pats it once, has a think, looks back down again, pats it again. Almost as if he's just making sure that it's there. One child comes forward. A shock of blonde hair. And looks nervous. Who's child one?
Me.
Hey, child one! Shock of blonde hair. And he says, don't worry, come forward. Name?
Sigma.
Oh, is it Sigmar, is it? Yes, I bet it is. Come and have a little sit down. Yes, you might notice that there's no monks around here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means? Well, the monks... Well, actually, I'll wait, because look, two other children are coming forward. Who's coming? Excellent! Child number 2! As he looks towards you, alongside child number 3. Yes, what's your names?
Sigmar.
Digger.
Digger. Oh, very good. I once knew a digger, he says. Profession, unfortunately, not name. So very good to see someone who... Is it because you dig?
Well, I call myself Digger.
I see. What does everyone else call you?
Teal.
Oh, well, let's stick with Digger between you and me. Do we have any more coming? He calls out. And at the back, a monk goes... 3, you say. Well, 3 more coming. 6 I've not seen this time. I was here, he says, just what, 7 months ago now? And while I was here, I saw some very interesting children. I imagine you've heard the tales of... Ah, here comes one now.
Helga.
Helga! Come forward, Helga. Take yourself a seat down here by the stump. We're going to be telling stories today, Helga. Excellent. Helga. Interesting. Where are you from, Helga?
I don't know.
Yes, well, that is often the case here at the monastery. He says, right, so before... Oh! I can't get started, can I? As another child comes out, this time with long hair down to his waist. Who is it?
I don't know. Hey,
Yes, come forward.
right.
What's your name, boy?
Fred.
Fred.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, Fred. Come and have a seat. We're going to be doing some stories.
Okay.
Says, do you like stories?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. If you have any questions as we go, don't be afraid to ask.
Okay.
Good. I trust that's the last, is it, brother? And at the back, the brother nods once, but he goes, and the brother disappears. Come forward. What's your name?
Pepper.
Pardon?
Pepper.
I'm an old man.
Pepper.
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 Pepper. I say, that's quite the name. Is it Pepper or Pepper?
Pepper.
Oh, I say. Is that because you like pepper? Or is it because of something else?
A halfling gave it to me, but I'm not really sure why. I said I would go well with Pepper.
Oh, very good. Pepper it is. So, before we begin, I have something that I would like to say to you all. The brothers are not here. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the brothers speak every single week at Festag to all of the people in Priestlicheim. They come and they listen to the lectures and they don't let the children in. Do you know why they don't let the children in? Does anybody know?
Boring.
No, quite the opposite. Yes, yes,
The doors are too big.
that's a good try, but no. Anyone else got an idea? No?
Scary?
Yes.
Mm.
Some of it's considered to be scary. Some of it is considered to be for grown-ups only. But the truth of it is quite the opposite. Because what they are teaching is how people can defend themselves against the depredations of evil. Yeah.
What's a depredation?
Ah, yes, he says. I see they have not been keeping up with their lessons. Yes,
What's evil?
evil. Both good questions. Depredations of evil. The dangers of bad people. And we all know that we need to know...
Like Fred! Like Fred!
Not bad. Just bad things happen, and I'm there. That's different.
Are you bad?
Fred's back.
No, I'm not. It's just
Are you bad, Fred? It's all right to be bad sometimes.
no.
How can you learn what good is if you don't know what bad is?
Stop pointing at me.
Exactly. Now, the grown-ups know the difference between good and bad because they're taught, but they don't teach you. So, let us imagine that someone bad came to the monastery. How would you recognize them?
Horns.
Horns? Horns. But what if they didn't have horns? And they were still bad?
Tail.
Tail? What if they just looked like a normal person?
Smelly.
And smelled like a normal person?
Sometimes they offer candy. You shouldn't go to ones who offer you candy. Bad.
I see. So they try to tempt you. Yes. Yes. Temptation is something that is common. Yes.
Ask him.
Ask him.
Yeah,
Now that is a very good idea, but you often find people who are bad lie.
that's
You
bad.
wouldn't know about that, would you, Fred?
Yes.
Yes, well, see, good. That is good. So, every one of the orphans that come here is told a story. Every single one of them. Now, the story that you get told by the brothers is the great story of this monastery. This monastery was sited here for one reason only. They claim it is to patrol the mountains that sit behind us, the Barren Hills, and to discover why the Green Hills, the Grünhügel, became the Barren Hills. This, as it turns out, is not quite the reason that this place was founded, because this place was founded when it was still the Grünhügel behind us. It was actually founded because it is believed that Sigma one day will come down from those hills when he is reborn. And he will be reborn when the final knights of this world have come to defend us all. Or so the stories say, which is why so many of you get called Sigma. There is the loose hope that one of you may be Sigma reborn.
But do they
not
all
Fred.
have to change their name if the Sigma, the fancy one, comes around?
No,
That would be very confusing.
no one knows how Sigma will appear.
Could be Fred.
Could be Fred.
I'm Fred.
Yes, you are Fred.
Yeah.
Now, today, you're going to get to hear a story about 6 grown-ups. 6 adults who used to be children like yourselves. And this story, you might be surprised, directly leads into your own lives. So be careful when you listen to this story. This is not a story that is aimed at children. So be aware that you might get scared. That is why. Be aware you might need to hold the hand of one of your friends if you're feeling a little uncomfortable. But this...
Not Fred. He doesn't like it.
Smelly hands.
I think you might find that he does.
No. Brave, don't need it.
Well done, Fred. So, he says, let me introduce you to the people that you're going to be hearing about. But before we do that, let us discuss a little about where the story is going to begin. A long time ago, 100 years ago, the capital of the empire was in Null. And here is the first time you will hear something that no one will teach you. Null fell. They don't teach this in the temples because they don't like to admit that the capital that Magnus the Pious founded as the new center of the empire was sacked by greenskins. They didn't just sack it. Magnus's throne was repurposed for a goblin who sat upon that throne, a goblin by the name of Grom the Paunch. Yes,
It's a funny name.
that's because he had a belly that was bigger than all of you put together. And he had a mouth that could swallow you whole. An axe that was so large that it dimmed the sun to be seen. And he defeated everyone. Do not think that our empire stood strong against him. Be it knight, be it wizard, be it elect account themselves, he struck them down. And he took the capital of the empire. He strode to the top of the hill and claimed it as his own for his throne. He hosted chariot races around the city. Now, if you know anything about the city, which you probably don't, but it's on a river. They bridged that river using all the warships that had been raided against them. They sunk them and then built bridges across. And they raced chariots with goblins and human slaves. There were wolves, there were horses, there was a lot of death. And this is at the capital. Imagine if you can, the biggest city you know. It was bigger than this. Now, if you listen to the standard history that the monks will tell you, they will say that the reason that Nuln collapsed was because of the emperor at the time. His name was Dieter, Gold Gatherer. That was a name he was given later because he was trying to celebrate Magnus the Pious. He was trying to make Magnus greater than anyone else by building a palace worthy of his name, golden and high. That palace was sacked by Grom. All the taxes were taken by the goblins. So they all blamed the emperor. He fled north to Altdorf against the impossible horde, a much smaller city now, today's capital, where the empire moved. And they blamed him for the defeats, perhaps rightly, perhaps wrongly. Our tale starts 70 years later. Null has been rebuilt.
Is it shiny?
It was very shiny before.
Oh.
The palace was made of gold. But you'll find that that palace had become much more of a fort, a castle. And beside it, they built the Kleiner Palats, the small palace. It was a more modest palace for a more modest time. Not the golden palace of Dieter. This is the reign of Matthias II, a descendant of a man who drove Grom away, according to the stories. In truth, he met him on the battlefield and fled. And Grom who was bored of the empire, and his chariot just rode off north, never to be seen again. But that emperor was lauded as a champion, which is why he became the emperor. His grandson now sat on the throne, and he will be in Null as our story begins. Now, we have 6 people we're going to focus on for this story. Are you ready to learn about them?
This many.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I got it right.
Very well done.
Easy.
The first of them, he says, as he pulls himself up straight, is not even a human. She had a name that was chosen for an effect. A name that most people found ridiculous, silly. But let me tell you that was why the name was chosen. It was chosen by an old elf by the name of Joros.
Oh, fuck.
And the name was the Adorable.
Oh my god.
And it was chosen because everybody responded with confusion. Because that elf was known to be the most beautiful and expensive courtesan in all of the empire. Yes,
What's a courtesan?
that is a very good question. People wanted to be her best friend. Everyone did, but she only had a small amount of time. So people had to pay to be her best friend.
I'm going to do that. You have to pay to be my friend.
People pay all the time in friendships, I think you will find.
Sweets. Okay.
And he smiles. Exactly.
Can I
Just like the Adorable. But imagine a mountain of gold. That still would not be enough to purchase a knight. A night. Passing of time. Good one. He smiles and sits back. The Adorabelle's name was chosen so that everyone would talk about her. And they did. They couldn't understand why a character such as her would have a name that was so silly. But by the time she arrived, everybody had talked. Everybody had discussed her. Who would have a name like that? Who would dare to enter a court called the Adorable? But then they saw her, and the theatre began. Because the Adorable was an actress, as well as a courtesan, a best friend to few. For example, just 2 days before our story begins, she walked into the palace with a long cloak that was over 100 paces long. The tip of the cloak was the source of the River Reich, and the whole Reich was painted down the length of it. Every town of the Reich was depicted, and on all sides there were children carrying the cloak in. Everyone was excited at this, thinking, children? They will surely make a mess of the Adorable, who, at that point, was dressed like a spirit at the top. The spirit of the river itself. And the children did indeed turn to squabbling. There was laughter and amusement, until everyone realized that the squabbling matched the current political situation down the River Reich. That the children dressed in Altdorf colors were quite upset with those dressed in Null. It broke out into fights. And then, just when everyone was beginning to understand, all the children stopped and bowed. And left. They were all orphans. The Adorable loved orphans. Because she herself had no idea who her parents were. Much like many of you. She is the first of the people who will be a part of this story. The second... The second is quite unlike anyone you will ever see in a quiet place like this, for she was a witch hunter. She had golden hair that billowed in the wind. But of late, she had taken to working a little less than before because she had 3 children with her, which meant hunting witches was not only difficult, it had proven to be almost impossible. This witch hunter had thus turned to a more cerebral way of witch hunting. That means she used her mind. She didn't pursue them herself. She set others to do the work, while she investigated, often with her children, which disarmed her foes. She had 3. The youngest was a small girl by the name of Etelka. Etelka Herzen, just like her mother. The second, he was a blonde-haired boy. And although he was only 3, he was already up to her breasts in height. Tall. Exceedingly tall. And as tall as his older sister, with her long white hair. Birgitta. The 3 children. They saw much, and the 2 tallest were presumed to be much older than they were. But she was only 5. She was already as tall as her mother. When the story begins, her children have been left at home with her husband, of House Herzen, a noble who cared nothing at all for his wife. He used to. But the children just got in the way. He didn't like them. And as we'll find out, he found a way to get rid of them. The third. Oh, now the third. You can already sense there was an orphan in the second and an orphan in the first. But could there possibly be an orphan in the third? His name was Sigismund of House Jungfreud. A young man of the age of 20. And a baron to boot. A man of substance, a man of bearing, a man who did at this point not know himself. He was a man who liked to think of himself as a hero. The biggest problem he had was he was not so good with a sword. Oh, he liked to challenge people to duels. He just didn't really see it through. He relied upon one of his friends to see him through the worst of it. A man called Zeneca, who was arguably at the age of 20 the finest swordsman in the Empire. Zeneca, unlike tall Sigismund, only came up to his shoulder. A much shorter man, with long, fine hair that hung down, and a face so beautiful that the sun itself was said to set if he were to walk out before it, so ashamed was it to look down upon his beauty. He was often mistaken for one of the courtiers. Everyone wanted to be his best friend. Unfortunately, he only had eyes for one person, his best friend, Sigismund. The next of our handy crew, and you might be wondering, where was Sigismund's orphans? Trust me, there would be many. And he smiles. I imagine you can possibly try to figure out how that might occur, but he did leave children in the most unexpected places.
Like hide and seek.
Yes, you could say he did enjoy a game of hide and seek every once in a while. He certainly hid some things, and it caused children to be everywhere. Good face over there.
Carry on.
I like Adorable. She's got a funny name like mine.
Mm-hmm. What do you like about her in particular? Is it just the name?
Well, she sounds fun. Like she gave orphans a job to do and trusted us.
She did indeed. And he smiles. Then next. Oh, our next. Our next. He says. let's skip that one, because I would like to move to someone who is interesting in a different way. She comes from a very far-off land. Her name is Kyoko. Kyoko is the daughter of an ambassador. Kyoko is best friends with everyone. And she doesn't ask for money. She doesn't ask for sweeties or apples. Indeed, Kyoko asks for nothing. Her parents, by comparison, ask a lot of her. But Kyoko is not that sort of giving person. Kyoko is very much her own girl, as you'll find many orphans turn out to be. Kyoko is, unlike yourselves, definitely not an orphan. But Kyoko will in time learn to love orphans in a way that no others ever will. Next is her Frank. He is a wizard. A light wizard. A wizard from the colleges of magic in Altdorf. He is strong, and he is mighty, intelligent, a master of philosopher.
How can he be mighty if he's light?
How do you think?
Because he's very long.
I like that. That is a good idea. It is because he comes from a place to do with light. His magic is illuminating. It fills the air like the sun. And he is mighty. Or so he likes to think. He certainly talks a lot about himself. His fellow magisters don't like him very much, so he tends to avoid them. Perhaps it's because he talks quite so much. Magister Frank is also very friendly. And then we return to the last of them. Number 6. Who is the last person to sit at a table? Well, why don't we start and find out? In the city of Null, there is a great festival that is held every year called Black Powder Week. It is held so that all of the cannons that have been made during the year can be lined up and tested to see if the cannon is capable of being sold by the guilds. If it fires, and it fires true, the cannon can be sold. If it collapses, it does not fire, it misfires, it cannot be sold until the next year has passed. Black Powder Week is 1 week of explosions from the bridges as they fire cannonballs down the length of the river. It was not originally intended to be an event. It was just something that was practically put in place by law of a previous count. But everyone turned up to watch the cannons, to hear the explosions, to watch the misfires. In time, awards were given. The cannon that fired the furthest. The cannon that fired the highest. The cannon that definitely didn't hit any of the buildings. Misfires were common. The cannon that blew up. And each of these awards were given to the different factories, the different smiths, the different munition workshops. You didn't want to get one of the bad awards. You wanted to get a good award for shooting further or higher or faster. How quickly can these 10 cannons be reloaded and fire 5 shots? Go! And they're moving around trying to bang again! Off they go! The winning crew all excited, faces jubilant, the others very sad, tears weeping down their faces. That was Black Powder Week. Until today. For the first day of the true Black Powder Week as it came to be understood. happens on the day our story begins, because the Kleiner Palats has been finished. After it was destroyed, everything was destroyed by the goblin. The Kleiner Palats' 70 years worth of finance and building has been completed, and the Count has sent invitations across the empire to everybody of circumstance to attend the reopening of Nuln. The old imperial palace may be gone, but the Kleiner Palats, the much more modest, smaller palace, was there to replace it. And who would have imagined that our 6 friends were indeed friends? But they were. But not necessarily for the reasons that each expected. Our witch hunter was in the employ of the Lord. And by employ, I mean she was already pregnant with his child.
Best friends.
They were the very best of friends.
Hide and seek again.
But they had recently fallen out because he refused to marry her. She was already married, of course, to a Hudson. And he was already married too. She didn't care. But then, she didn't care because she was a commoner. And she was pursuing something that she thought was admirable. Love. This immediately filled Sigismund with fear. He didn't understand the concept. What is love? How does love work? It certainly doesn't work for me. But that could be because just 2 days before, he had become very best friends with the Adorabelle. He had stood up for her in a duel that he lost. A duel that his second had to step in on. He made the mistake of challenging an elf. It is fair to say that the elf cut him easily. But because the elf was honourable, chose to cut him underneath his armpits, so it would not show in the Lord's face. He still itches uncomfortably. It would be better if that hadn't occurred, and he knows it. How exactly does Kyoko join in with this? Well, it's not simply because she's been chasing the Adorabelle. Actually, it is. She'd been chasing the Adorabelle and had been turned down 17 separate times, but she'd never spoken to her directly. It has always been through one of her agents, a man by the name of Joros, in an inn called the Golden Hoop. It's not truly an inn, it's a place where lots of special friends gather. And they are best friends all night, often by the hour. But she had heard that the Adorabelle was turning up with a magister. He had been selected. He had somehow attracted the Adorabelle to his side. The Adorabelle hadn't come with the magister to be best friends. She was intrigued by his story. Because that was the way to get the Adorabelle. Kyoko did not know this. She hadn't come up with a clever story. Yes.
This is a good story. Did you get him, Doorbell?
No.
Ah.
She is not my friend.
Right.
But I will say I met her. And that is how I know this story. Because there's something special about the Adorabelle that you will learn. He says as his voice slips slightly. You see, she is invisible. She is an elf. You can't see her.
What?
There is no way. See, I can see. I am in a position where I can see everything that was, everything that is, and everything that will be. But I can't do it normally. I can only do it when I'm in someone else's employ. Fortunately, here I am today, telling you a story.
Dodgy.
I can't see her, though. But I spoke to her.
Oh.
You see, there is a way to see that which can't be seen. You just talk to them.
Yes. How do you know she didn't lie?
Because I know lies better than anyone, child.
Scary though.
I told you that sometimes it is scary. That sometimes, just sometimes, grown-ups need to be scared so that they know when to run. But you're in the monastery, so of course you'll say. And he leans back. 6 people are gathered around the table. It is Black Powder Week. They are all ready for Black Powder Week. It has been quite the party. This is a masquerade ball. It has been organized by the Count, and people have come from across the Empire to attend. This particular group did not intend to arrive with each other. They all arrived under their own, well, we've already covered some of it. Going round the table, let's start with the Adorabelle.
Just put something.
Going round the table, let's start with Magister Frank. Hey, tell me what you look like.
He is an exceedingly long individual. Very tall.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Rakish.
Rakish.
He is wearing his robes, and he
Long white robes, gold trimmed, snake symbols wrapped around both of his arms.
And he came in with the Adorabelle
He did.
on his elbow.
And when he came in, oh my goodness, was there a response? Everybody turned, everybody expected her to be on the hands of Van de Kuiper's crew. Van de Kuiper from Westerland, which is in, now, the wasteland in modern times. But Westerland at this point, maybe. Van de Kuiper's. Now.
Yeah, that's black hair, short crop beard.
What colour is the eyes?
His eyes are a very, very pale blue.
On his arm is the Adorabelle. How is the Adorabelle dressed? Oh, your mask.
It is.
Can't forget the mask.
Oh, man. I need an animal. Is there a peacock?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's a peacock.
Big peacock mask with flaring colours sticking out to the other side. Or white. White peacock?
He would have it white.
Nice, love it. Okay, the Adorabelle.
She's the Adorabelle is dressed as a deer.
Of course she is.
Makes
Dressed
sense.
as a deer. The Adorabelle is how tall?
About 6'5".
Yep.
She's got golden hair. She's got antlers in her hair that spiral up. They don't look like they're held on with anything. They just looks like she's got
They
antlers.
just sit there.
Yep.
Sitting opposite her is.
Kyoko.
And how does Kyoko look?
Kyoko is dressed in normal clothes for the area she's in. She is clearly Nipponese, but she is dressed to fit in. And she's got her hair down, which
Is it very long?
it is very long, yes. I know.
Hey! Sitting not far off to the side from the Adorabelle is.
Adelka Hertzen. Adela Hertzen.
Adela Hertzen.
I've got her on the brain. Yes, Adela Hertzen.
Adela Hertzen is not that tall. She has long blonde hair, blue eyes, and could not look sweeter if she tried. What's she wearing?
She's wearing a very nice velvet gown in a pale blue. And she's got a boar mask. And she's giving daggers to Adorabelle. When she thinks nobody's looking.
On the opposite side of her, and looking deeply uncomfortable, is
Baron Sigismund of House Jungfreud.
Baron Sigismund of House Jungfreud. Baron Sigismund is about almost 6 foot tall. In fact, over 6 foot tall. He's in his 20s now. Over 6 foot tall. Lean, whippet lean almost. What's he dressed in?
Well, given he's such a heroic figure, he's got an elaborate mask, which is a representation of Magnus the Pious. It's the greatest hero we can think of in Nuln. And he's a finery, but finery cut in such a way as to resemble a breastplate without actually being a breastplate.
Wise.
Because, as we all know, those things.
They don't know.
Have extra room.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, oh yeah, very padded.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And then finally, who do we have as our last player?
So, I believe I'm Johannes Tugen.
Johannes Tugen, says the storyteller as he comes in. A man who would have sinister connections in the future, but at the moment is but a young man.
Like a nerd.
A man who you would think would not be connected to this group at all. However, as it turns out, he'd already been in pursuit of the Adora Bell and failed. He had then pursued Kyoko, who he had spotted at an inn. She laughed at him.
Fuck you.
She was very drunk at the time, perhaps for that reason only, and she was also at that point balancing on her sword. It was quite an impressive feat. It is something that she had been taught to do to impress at court. It impressed in the inn much more. Johannes Tugen, who felt not only out of place, but completely out of place. But, and here is the important connection, he and Sigismund were very close. Both at university, both studying philosophy. And Sigismund had invited him. He wasn't sure if he wanted to come. And then he found out the Adora Bell would be there. And he still wasn't sure if he wanted to come. And then maybe he should. And maybe he shouldn't. Maybe he should. Maybe he shouldn't. And the good man had eventually decided, yes, I'll come. He hid in his room until Sigismund almost broke it down and said, I know you're in there, and dragged him. Not kicking, not screaming, but certainly reluctant. But the further he got, up the hill towards the palace, the more that he thought maybe it would be for him. How's he dressed? Our young Johannes.
Johannes is probably greys, I imagine. Sort of cheap-ish at the moment.
Cheap grey, sounds good.
Ink-stained fingers. A sort of quasi-sneer, usually perpetually on the face, just because some people look like that. And also, later on, he's a shit, so I'm going to make Is masks a thing? Does everybody do masks here? All right.
Oh, I forgot to say what mine was.
It's okay, I'll get to you in a moment.
Mask is cheap. It's blue. A half-face mask. Yeah, Phantom of the Opera style.
Did you have to hold it?
No, it sort of sticks on, but occasionally it slips, like the glue slightly slips. That holds
That's
it
going
together.
to get Liam with a lovely sticky face.
Yeah,
Love
occasionally
it.
does this to push it back on again.
Love it. And he's sitting not far away from Kyoko. Tell me Kyoko's mask.
Kyoko is wearing a bear mask.
Bear.
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 Yeah, and if you now look at it, her outfit, it's a gown. It's still a gown, but like as if you made like a hunter's like outfit into a skirt.
Nice.
And this is where we take a brief pause to say they all have a secret mission. In fact, they all have at least 3. And it's entirely up to themselves whether they manage these, but if they do, the XP gain is huge. And they're about to remake their characters. If they get everything in place, because it's Christmas, there are fate points on offer.
Oh shit!
But it depends how well they portray their characters. Tugan, for example, if he's portrayed as a dick. Was he a dick back then? We'll find out if you get fate points or not.
Well, things might change.
It's Merry Christmas time! Gifts will be, and we all, at the end of the episode, discuss what particular missions they had, how well they did, and what they get in turn for them. If everybody gets it, though, and everybody nails everything that they've got, everybody will get a fate point.
Oh.
So whatever
Because
everyone
it's
suggests,
Christmas.
We just
Do
go
it.
with
We
it.
just do it. Just do it.
We yes and the crap out
Yes.
of it.
And if I think it's not done well, he won't get it. Right, so
Quite
you're all
Challenge accepted.
we are all sitting around a table off to the far right-hand side of an enormous ballroom. It has 1, 2, 3 tiers of walkways around the entire edge of it. Tables line all of it. At the far end, there's a raised stage where a small symphony is busy playing away. They are all dressed in wigs and long gowns with little masks sitting upon their faces, held with string at the back. They look particularly impressive. The ballroom itself is filled with swirling nobles and merchants because they're not quite so noble with the party at Black Powder Week yet. At the moment, there are many who are rich who have been invited, particularly from, and I will say it one more time, the Westerland. That means something to some of you. The Westerland. The Van de Kuipers in particular are here, which is seen as somewhat of a coup. They are arguably the richest in all of the Reichland, but the Rickert Guelners come in a pretty close second from Altdorf. Your table is where you're all sort of gathered at the side. The Adorabelle has gathered a lot of attention in turn, but it's turned into this almost half halo of interested onlookers who are wondering, what's going on? Why is she not with the Emperor, who is yet to take the stage? Why is she not with the Count or the Van de Kuipers? Who is that? Why a wizard? Makes no sense, but it's the mystery of the Adorabelle. Anybody might catch your eye, but why? Onlookers are hovering, trying to figure out how they could best make their way over to this table of interesting people. There is one other which is worth mentioning. Of course, says the storyteller, let us not forget the last of them who sat at the table. Not the most important character for our tale, but one who was nevertheless there that day. A man by the name of Zenekar. We have already discussed him. He is young, he is a swordsman par excellence. None are better, they say. He was trained by Valencourt, one of the finest swordsmen in the Empire, and outstayed his welcome in that particular sword school. So he moved to another and another, and now, as a student of philosophy, a bad student of philosophy, who had turned up for one class in the last 2 years, spending his time at sword schools of various types. He was only known by the Tugan, but known well by the Jungfreud. He lounged at one side of the table, his long hair hanging down to the side, looking bored by the crowds. He liked to look at the men in the eye to see which would look away, and the ones that didn't, they didn't get the response they were looking for. They were hoping that maybe he would be friends with them. And then they realized the look that they got in turn was threatening. The question was, would they hold their look further? Zenekar lounges, his voice high-pitched. Is anybody going to dance or do something? Because I am waiting to be challenged by someone who's going to come. You know how it is. Someone's going to come.
I could dance for you, Your Grace. Would you like that?
No. And he drinks.
Don't look at me. My ankles are swollen.
Are you sure? I can do all sorts of dances. She'll go.
Just go ahead and dance. Yeah.
Yes, I shall. Dances.
Do yourself D100 roll. So, rules for this evening. You can choose one skill to be at 140.
Nice.
Dance.
You can choose one skill to be at 100. You can choose one skill to be at 80. And all the rest are at 70. These are not incapable people.
Damn, mother.
Damn! Are you dancing?
Yes.
Do you dance? Do a little dance. Merry Christmas. Do a little dance. Merry Christmas.
61.
And
Six
is that your big skill?
No, it's my 100 skill.
Your 100 skill, so that's 6 successes. Marvellous.
1870s.
Theodora Bell spins up and begins to dance. And dances around Zenokar. Spinning around, attempting to presumably impress him. There is a smattering of applause. Ooh. Coming from the crowd. Ooh. As Zenokar rolls his eyes. Oh, really? Oh, can somebody stop her? Can somebody just stop her? As she spins around.
Kyoko will get up.
She'll go and sit on his knee. And be like, you smell so fresh, like lemons. Or is it pomander? I cannot tell the difference between the two because they are different. No, that's not right. That's not right.
Are you drunk?
No.
It's just that his face looks like he's been eating lemons. Never mind the smell.
Will you kiss me so I can see if it is your breath?
Get off me. Yeah, and there's a from the crowd as she pushes him away.
You should enjoy it.
A man, a very well dressed man, comes out and says, "That is it, I've had enough already. You oik!" It says, oh, here we go. It says stroll.
May I?
She'll spin, Alan Menowith will spin and say, you are welcome.
Yeah, I'll be your second.
He says, walk up to the old fellow.
As he looks at you, all of his 24 years.
Punch him square in the face.
What skill is this of yours?
This will be. He's not great. This will be one of the
fighting.
70s.
Yeah, it sounds good.
It's not great.
He's not great. But it's a success.
He's still pretty good. Trained. As it comes flying in, fist. He's I think he's probably surprised. I mean, I'm surprised. Where's my dice? I'm so excited I've lost my dice. There we go. I'll just roll this one twice while I go find the dice after. Oh wow, no, not good is the response to that one. As you wallop, splot, blood. Thank you very much. As blood splashes from his face, and he just looks at you. What?
You have impugned the honour of the Adorabelle, and that's not acceptable.
It's not going to get you into your pants, but good effort.
As he says,
Plenty more fisting to go around.
I would very much like to see you try.
Maybe later, my lord.
I won't even object to it. I'll just stand here. Won't even cast a spell.
I didn't.
All mouth, Siggy. All mouth.
He says,
there's a reason why I walked in with
I'll
her.
pay to watch. I'll pay to watch. That. Come on, Siggy. Come on.
Free hit.
Well, let's wait until the wine's
Is
flowing,
there
shall
like
we?
wine and food that's going around that we can take?
Yeah.
I'll get one and give one to him. There you go, Your Grace. For you.
I already have. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
I'll take it if it's going. Thank you. Right. And yeah. You! Yeah!
Who are you pointing at?
The bloody nose man.
Bloody nose man.
Yeah.
Who's up? His friends are looking at him saying, just don't. Just don't. And he's like, bloody hell, do you see what you did?
Yeah. Don't do that.
So he looks at you and says, don't you talk to me like that, you little oik.
Punch him in the face.
I get thrown out of this.
I don't think it's probably... Tugan's not a strong person,
No,
right?
no,
Never
he's
has been, yeah, so we'll keep it that. 3 fails.
No, I love it. As whoosh, and he moves and says, I don't think so, and flails at you, slightly drunk, but he's gonna give it a go, and succeeds.
Do I need to roll?
Yeah, you can dodge or you can.
2 successes.
That'll
Probably
do,
on dodge.
because he did very poorly. As he swipes the air as well. He says, stop moving! I challenge you
I'm
to
not
a
having
duel!
this, and I'd like to punch him again in the face. Stay away from my friend!
It's not really worth it anyway. I'm gonna go
That's
sit
another
back
one
down.
success.
As he swings out the road, and you hear from the back, can we please take it outside of your fighting? Says, this is a civilized place, my lord.
We'll look at him. Gesture towards Zenekar. This is my second. Shall we take it outside?
As he says, yes. As his friends go, no. You go, no. What? No. And looks, why not? He says, that's Trot. What, the girl? He says, as Trot grins, stands up,
Oh, you didn't.
and comes over and says,
Not want to say
excuse
that.
me, could you possibly say that one more time, because I did like the tenor of it. He says, what? Oh. He looks down at him. It's Trot. Just no. It's very good to meet you, my lord.
He's amazing, isn't he?
As he says,
Why are you
Is
talking
it?
to me?
maybe I should
Tart.
challenge you to a duel for all of the offence that you've caused my friend's fist.
I mean, this glove is ruined.
And his eyes widen.
Look at the stitching.
It is actually ruined.
Yeah.
Actually ruined. So
I had my tailor spend hours on it.
I would like your gloves, please. He says, gloves. Give him the gloves. No, these are expensive gloves. Just give him the gloves. There. Looks at them. Looks at you. They're far too small. No, these won't do. No, these won't do at all. Just tears them up with a knife. There we go. You might be able to fit them on now.
Thanks, Annie.
Oh, straight into his pocket. That is a shame. You've ruined his gloves and haven't been able to properly sort it out. I need your shoes.
Would you like me to take them off him for you?
Oh, yes. The man suddenly steps forward. You can take off my shoes. No. He can take off his own shoes.
I will do
As
what.
he looks down, I'm not
It's graceful.
actually sure how they work. As he looks down. I mean, I don't think I put them on myself. Let's just, he says, why don't we just accept that there was some offence caused that shouldn't have been caused, and we're just, I want your shoes.
Sigismund, stand down here, boy. There's no need. The night has just begun. There'll be plenty of more opportunities
I
to
want
duel.
his shoes.
When Zenny wants something like this, he tends to get it.
He listens to you. Stand him down.
I want your shoes.
You could just give him his shoes, and then we'll all be fine.
And in the corner, as you're sitting at your table, Zenekar half smiles as he watches the man fumble through taking off his own shoes for about the next 5 minutes.
I'll get Zenekar's drink. Would you like your drink?
He takes it with a half smile on his face. I hope you haven't had your finger. Yes, that's it. Good. Come on, you can get it on. Come on. That's it. Well done. That's a lace done. You're almost there. Come on. Good.
Best not to be offending Zendikar. He's got swollen ankles.
I'll never get my shoes off.
You may like that, though.
With one shoe off, Zenekar twists round. I'm bored. Have them posted to my home.
Do you think this wine tastes of Dandelion.
I wouldn't know. I can't drink.
Oh. Would you like me to pour it on you and see if it would soak in?
No, that would ruin my gown.
We could take your gown off.
Stop it. I can hear you thinking from
I
here.
don't think any of us want that to happen.
I think it might take a taste of moonbeams. It's peculiar.
Give it here.
Here you go.
Moonbeams.
Well, he would be the expert on
It's
moonbeams.
just-
That's
it's-
a-
Tastes like
that's
wine.
a
just
wizard
like
of the
it.
light.
It's like there's something in it that's making me feel funny.
It's the alcohol.
No, I drink wine all the time. It's not like this. I don't know if it's the one.
Zenekar is just sitting there smiling to
It
himself.
smells of something
Let me smell.
floral, don't you think?
What
Like,
does it smell of?
Perhaps you're intoxicated by the company.
you go up to him and sniff.
Does it smell of anything
Didn't
unusual?
mean that company.
Yes, it smells like delicious, delicious wine.
And then she'll smell everywhere. Like, you go around like a cat.
Hello, character. My cup does smell of something, Lindsay. Have you sabotaged?
What does it smell
Happy
like?
Christmas!
No.
Dan just goes to sleep.
Yeah, she'll go around the table like a cat, like.
A gentleman comes up from behind, backs off slightly as you twist around that way and says, "Excuse me, would you be so kind as to give me a dance?" Right. And you see some whoops and cheers. Way! And as he comes back to those and goes, no, it didn't happen. It's worth a try.
While the doorbell has danced off, he'll catch Tugan's eye. I've had her, you know. just before the party.
Okay.
Sigismund will
quite
punch
good.
him right in the face.
Stop punching people.
I said I'd let you get a free hit.
You did.
No successes, but it's passed.
Crunch,
it's a
crunch.
0-1, bare minimum.
It wasn't the worst hit, but it's definitely a bleeder.
You do punch like a girl, yes.
Punch him again?
This one isn't free.
Yeah, fair. Oh yeah, that's a fail.
That is one success. So
Can you stop punching everyone, Citizen?
Well, if you'll stop
The girl
maligning...
doesn't like punchers. She likes fighters. She likes people who fight. That doesn't mean with your fists.
But he maligns her...
I'm sure she can stand up for herself.
Just
Shut
tell
up.
her, just
She's
be
lying on
telling
the
truth.
ground, looking at the ceiling.
But it's not seemly.
It's not seeming.
Could
I punch him.
While this is happening, could Kyoko smell the wine and do a lore poison?
Yep, go for it. What's
I have 2 successes.
I got 1.
It's my 80s.
Okay, go for it.
4 successes.
Yep, seems fine.
What is your name again? It is pretty.
Kyoko.
Kyoko. Will you take me home, please?
Where is your home?
I work in I live in an establishment called the Golden Hoop.
Oh, of course. I could take you home if you want.
I would like that.
I think your companions might be a little upset by that, but
Well, we will come straight back.
of course,
As I say to my children, you've got to learn to share.
of course. I'll take care of you, don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Where are you taking her?
I mean, how far is the Golden Hoop?
You know that it's quite far away.
Yeah. I'll take her to... Is there one of the bathrooms that's particularly
There are
golden?
many rooms that have been set aside for, shall we say, the occasional dalliance.
Yes.
And you could just take off one of your rings. Golden Hoop.
As soon as the doorbell leaves the room, should I do not like the smell out here. We should go back in.
Would you mind helping me with the back of my dress for a second? I think something, unfastened in the ride here. I just need somebody to check me. I don't trust anyone else. Would you mind?
I will go under. Like she goes over and looks at it from the inside, like that'll help. I cannot see anything wrong with the dress in here.
Perhaps in the better light, and I'll lead her off into a bathroom.
You have been led elsewhere. Have you led her elsewhere for friendship?
I mean, if she's willing.
For friendship.
What do you think of Seneca, Trot?
That's not the sort of friendship he was looking for.
Sexy talk we all love.
Yeah, I love talking about Trot. He seems like a man who is difficult to please. Like he's bored of everything.
At the table, Zeneca goes, I'm bored.
And then the Adorabelle and Kyoko become
I'm going to go find someone to dance with.
Zeneca, care to make a bet?
Says, I bet that I can get somebody to be very upset with me.
Too easy.
I'm going to ask...
Get someone to be upset at her.
Who even is she?
Find a witch.
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm Adela Hertzen. House Hertzen.
Oh, you're the commoner, aren't you? I remember. Oh, I remember. Of course, he came to me and he asked about you, didn't he? You're the pretty one that he had to marry. I was quite convinced he was ensorcelled. I mean, why else would he marry you? He says, I'm going to go find someone to annoy.
I hope they kill you.
He says, I hope you enjoy it. I'll take this with me. And he glides off. Okay, he's a bit drunker than he first thought. As he straightens himself and then goes to try and find the biggest, baddest looking man who's married.
Siggy.
Mm-hmm.
You as well.
What?
Either What's, he's never been to a class. He did one. And now he just swans around.
Mm-hmm.
Why, we've done loads of classes together.
I forget sometimes that you're common.
Right.
His father pays, so...
So you just don't have to turn up?
I mean, I do because I'm interested in it, of course.
Yes.
As are you.
Well,
he's not.
I mean, it's philosophy is kind of boring, but...
Boring.
While he says that, you young ladies, are you returning or not returning? Are we busy or are we not busy? Are they friends?
Yeah, we've already said.
Yeah, we're
I
friends.
missed it.
Friends.
Excellent, good. They're becoming very friendly back there. Good to know.
Yeah, well, no, it's
You
just...
get punched. You get punched.
Who's punching me?
This guy. No one besmirches my beloved philosophy.
Wait, actually?
0 successes.
A relatively clumsily thrown terrible fist from the side.
One success. All right. No, I take it back. I'm sorry. It doesn't do anything for me.
You're just not smart enough to understand.
Something philosopher yourself, are you?
I'm a big philosopher.
I
I know all of the philosophers.
You don't sound like a big philosopher, man. Just
Edgar.
Fred. France?
One sec. Let me look up my name again. Yes, yeah. Just call me Edgar.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
In the distance,
It's
you hear a
okay. It doesn't
roar.
matter.
Get your hands off my wife!
There's Annie. There he is.
Maybe
Weird.
this time they'll break his pretty little face.
Unlikely.
One can hope.
Do we hear that in the bathroom?
Yeah.
And that will be Zeneca being heroic again. We should go back and see.
Is that what you call it? Of course.
Do you think we could go up the flight of stairs that are in the attic room?
I don't see why not.
Tries to go through a wall. Oh,
Maybe not that way, though.
that's not the attic room. Kyoko.
No, no, not that wall, no. Are you okay?
Maybe I need more wine.
Let's get this glass of water in you first.
But I haven't had any wine. I've only had human wine, and it's not supposed to be. It's not right, Kyoko.
Through the centre of the hall, a very large man, 6.5 foot worth of solid muscle, is stomping towards the main exit. Behind him, looking half terrified and half lazy, is Zenekar. Oh no, what am I going to do? What's this guy?
Come on.
Terrified.
This will be fun. We should go.
Oh, I'm terrified, my lord. This is going to be awful. There's several who are
Alright.
moving over. Oh,
Morpheus is fighting Neo.
that. Oh.
Zenekar knows Kung Fu.
Is this really what passes for entertainment in an evening? Really?
We can talk philosophy while we watch.
What's the point?
I bet I could beat you in philosophy, even though I'm not the biggest fan.
I bet I could beat the shit out of you, you little.
Well, he's got a point. A duel of wits. If we're gentlemen, if you don't want us to brawl.
No, we can do half and half. What about this? If I beat you, I get to punch you.
You already tried.
So did you. We don't
More of a
move.
love tap.
We don't move.
I succeeded.
You did, see, and you're getting stronger.
Who's going out?
I think we're gonna.
You're all walking
Wait,
on your way out.
this isn't the
Chatting away
golden
amongst
hoop?
yourselves. That sounds good to me.
Have we seen the return of Laura Bell?
Walk
Just
of
because
shame.
I have a pithy comment lined up and I'm ready for it.
You'll probably see them coming out, and I'm going. This isn't the golden hoop.
We took a break. Do you not remember?
Hmm.
You
So
wanted to go
I
into
think
the
we
attic.
need to go to the golden hoop.
It's a little bit far away. You wanted to watch Zenekar fight.
After that, let's go home.
Okay. Well, you stay by my side and I'll take you home at the end of it.
I shall watch Zenekar.
She'll smirk
magnificent.
at the other men as she walks away.
Do you think he would like a threesome?
Perhaps he's pretty enough.
On the outside, the big chap is walking backwards and forwards. He says, I want my bloody two-handed sword. Come on, somebody must be able to get my Zweihander. Where is it? Come on. I need it. Zenekar was like, you can do whatever weapon you want. I don't really care. Takes out a small, short foil. I'm sure it'll be over relatively quickly, my lord. You are so large. Whenever you're ready. Oh, you're not ready. Puts it away. Oh, for goodness sake, how long is this going to take? I mean, so somebody get him a sword. And there must be a lot of them in the palace somewhere. One hanging up on a wall or something. Somebody get him a sword and get this over and done with.
Do you have one?
I have a rapier, but he wants a fire.
You do realise if I win, I'm going to fuck your wife. And he's just looking at her. And she's like, "Argh!" Comes up and someone's like, "Ugh! Honourable Joe, my lord! Give me a... You! He points over towards some soldiers. Give me your bloody halberd!
Halberd? That's a tactical error. It's very fast. That's only going to make him even slower.
Yes!
It's going to be over.
Right, you fucking idiot! You're going down, you little fucking... Already. As he raises his blade. That's all I've been doing wrong.
It's the pinky.
Yeah.
She's gonna cast forgetting spell your armor.
Whenever you're ready, my lord. So he just steps aside. Oh, really? We're going for brute, are we? You almost got me. Let's see how well they actually do.
Crit.
That'd be cool.
He's dead.
Zenegartron's dead. Uh-oh.
We're restarting the campaign.
So who is the Zenegartros of the future? As a mighty swipe of the halberd goes, and he ducks back from it again. You'll have to do better. Come on, faster. As he starts, I hope I've not pulled the camera out there. As he starts running forward, baff, 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 as he's back. Come on. And then hits the crowd. Oh dear. He says, an exultant look arrives as he swipes and cuts the man in half. Poor crowd member. As, right down, and the harbour gets stuck halfway through him. As Zedekar pokes him in the ear, and the blade comes out the other side. And then, God, you're heavy.
Tremendous form. Tremendous.
My lady, you and I have an appointment. They're just quiet. She says, come on, my lady. And he goes off. And she goes with him. He's all sort of quiet. And then there's a smattering of clapper, but it's a smattering more than a exultant cheer.
Kyoko will turn around and go, at least he's good with his sword.
I've never met anyone like him.
I feel bad for that woman, though. I don't think she's gonna enjoy that.
Maybe he's all talk.
We could go watch.
Shall we? Let's follow them. Come on.
Do you care to make a wager on how long they'll be? I think he fights quick and he does everything else quick. So.
I mean, that wasn't quick. He took his time with him.
From inside, you hear a horns blowing. Possibly the arrival of the Emperor. Possibly the arrival of the Count. Difficult to tell which.
Would decorum dictates that we should go back to the...
Probably, yeah. At least see him arrive.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Back in the monastery. And then the Emperor arrived. Now, unlike his grandfather, who was lauded as a hero, the founder of the House of Second Wilhelm. But you must understand, he was only Wilhelm II of Altdorf. The Prince of Altdorf, indeed. He was Wilhelm III as an emperor. And Wilhelm III, or the second, was supposedly a good man. His grandson was a popular emperor with the elector counts, because he was not so good at what he was doing. It's why he was voted in the first place, and it is indeed why most of his descendants would be also. Our empire is not well led. No! A good leader is dangerous to the other grand provinces. Our empire is weak. And Dieter was a fine example of this. In the ballroom, a man 6'2", with a laurel, long golden robes, and a mask. A beautifully well-made mask. Showing some human face. You're not quite sure what he's supposed to be, perhaps. Oh no, it's quite clear. He's himself. He's himself.
Wow.
As he
That's a good play.
comes down, on his hand, his arm, pardon me, is his daughter. She can't be much older than maybe 17, 18. She has a full mask with a heron's beak coming out from the front as the pair of them make their way down. And then they take a dance in the center as the music strikes up and the general hubbub immediately turns to the dance floor, because you never know, you might get spun off and get a chance to have a dance with the Emperor, or indeed even his daughter.
The
Oh
Adorabelle
yes.
will say, the Adorabelle is coming through. And she'll come through. And then as she's as close to the Emperor as she'll just be sick all over the floor.
Ew! Goes the violin.
God, how is she beautiful even when she vomits? How is that possible?
I don't know. It's enchanting.
Why weren't you saying that when I was having morning sickness?
Because you weren't beautiful when you were vomiting.
Someone comes up and
This could
says,
be your last child. 'cause I
"No,
may
no,
remove the
little fawn.
bits.
Now, little fawn. Worry not. Clearly the fawn has eaten the wrong berries. Ha 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 ha. And there's a smattering of laughter that spreads around. Clearly you ate the red berries rather than the blue. Clearly demonstrating his deep knowledge of botany. As he says, yes, why don't we help you up? Maya, says Linda. Like so, and...
Has he touched her anywhere inappropriate?
I think you may consider everything's inappropriate.
I will punch him in the face.
While he does that, I will look at the vomit to check if it looks like it should look. You know.
Yeah, one success, but I'm really not good at this.
You're enthusiastic, and that's what
You're
matters.
going to get yourself into trouble.
As to the side, the Emperor looks on and says, "What do you think you're doing, you little idiot?" This is not, he says, the sort of place that one just throws fists. If you have an issue with one of these people, you challenge them to a formal duel like a gentleman. You don't just attack them. As the one who's under seat, who touched her inappropriately by touching her, goes...
As he lets go of the doorbell, she'll fall over.
Oh! He'll try to catch you. He fails.
Cool. Kyoko will put her arm around her, and I've also got 7 successes.
4.
Or Lord Poison.
Oh, right.
To check.
Put my arm around him.
No.
A special lure
Roll a
around.
hug.
Bah! Catch. Nothing seems to be wrong with the old vomit. Nothing seems to be wrong.
He starts to cry.
As the Emperor comes over and says, "I'm sorry, my lady, that his inelegance made you vomit. It also made me feel sick." He says, "It is entirely his fault." Gestures towards you. As,
I am not going to punch
to
the
the
Emperor in
side.
the face.
To the side,
Get
here.
out.
Daddy, I think this is perhaps inappropriate. Mummy would not like this. As he says, yes, of course, you're here. He says, "Yes, you're absolutely correct, darling. Why don't we let this party continue? Music, please. Music." As "Daddy, I would like you to dance with me again." Looks at you. "With me now." "Yes, of course, darling." Looks at you. "We will talk." "You will not talk anything, Daddy." He says, "Yes, of course." "Everybody dance!" As he dances with his daughter. A guard comes over.
Not so brave without your little henchman, are you?
A guard comes over and says, "I think you should probably come over towards the side." Says,
I'm not
"You come this way," puts down, as 2 large Imperial guardsmen just stand looking at you. No, him.
Perhaps for tonight, maybe no more punching people, maybe just challenge to duels.
Yeah,
Could be a good thing to commit to.
I think that would be fair advice. I think yes, but very soundly made by our esteemed leader.
Tries to
He
catch
won't punch
Kyoko's-
any more people. He's given his word.
Catch Kyoko's eye.
Is this what it's like with all these noble party things?
Sometimes it's much worse.
Really?
Yes.
Zenakar slopes in from the side. Hello, everyone.
Oh.
The Emperor shouted at me.
Well done. He says, "Was he bad? Should I challenge him?" He says, and smiles.
Probably best not.
"I think he'd probably refuse, although it would be interesting to face off against the Emperor's champion."
Who would it be? Oh, that's Frank. Sorry. Who is the champion of the Emperor at the moment?
He says, "My old fencing master." And he smiles.
That would be.
Licks his lips.
Good lay.
That would be an interesting. Was any offense caused?
By me?
No, by him. Did he offend you, my lord?
No.
No.
Sorry, oh boy.
We can hope. Could you perhaps, I don't know, bump into him a few times, see if you can shout at him or something?
Are the guards still eyeballing me? I was like, no, I don't think so, Sammy. I don't think so.
I mean, it would be a favour. I could owe you something. I don't know what. What do you need? I should like to face off.
Fuck, dude.
I see. It says, I might take you up on that offer. I might take you up on that offer.
I mean, you could just challenge your former master, couldn't you? You don't necessarily
No,
need to
not if
involve-
there's no slight. We can't just simply challenge people willy-nilly. We're noble. There is decorum to consider.
But couldn't you
Decorum.
just spar?
No. I have no interest in sparring with him.
For honour?
Oh, Siggy. You know, one day you might understand me, but that day has yet to come. I'm sure it will come someday.
I understand you. She calls from the side
From the
of the
knees
room.
of the Emperor.
No, she's at the, just at the side.
Kyoko, would you like a dance?
It would be
I
my
could
pleasure.
understand you if you
to get
just
away from
let
that
me.
elf.
She does seem quite insistent on getting acquainted with you, my lord.
He rolls his eyes. Some people just can't help themselves, can they? And takes to the floor. If we accidentally bump into the Emperor, I wouldn't mind. He says, if it was an accident, but only if it was an accident.
Of course.
I do hear that he dances like he has two left feet. So if we were just close to him, it's quite likely he might bump into me.
Of course. And if you bumped into me, it would only be the right thing for you to try and defend my honor.
I like you. Says, and then he bows most gracefully. I like you a lot, Kyoko. Let us dance.
Meanwhile, Adela has gone over to Adorabella, pulled a hanky out of her sleeve, licked it, and is trying to clean up her face where she's vomited because you can't turn the mum off.
Will you take me home, please?
Of course.
Please. I want to go to the Golden Hole. No.
Golden hole.
Stop it.
Yes.
Just
that's what
because
it's
I'm
called.
Nipponese and slightly yellow toned.
Whoa! Whoa! Cut!
Child.
Merry Christmas, everyone!
Bad people.
Zenokar.
You are laid on a bit thick, darling. Come on, then.
Siggy, I've had her and all. Pointing at Kyoko. No punch? No, good man, you've stopped it. I wasn't telling the truth, I've not had her. But maybe. The night is young.
I wouldn't mind either way.
Back in the monastery. And of course, they were our 6 curious individuals. You'll find that adults often get a little bit out of sorts when they have been drinking alcohol, which most of you probably know. I know where the cider is kept, and you probably do as well. We know what it's like when you're younger and you have things to try out. The problem with the adults is that they've already tried it out several times and decided they quite like it. And it sometimes gets them into trouble. Like vomiting on the Emperor. Or somebody sticking a sword through someone else's ear. Now, did it exactly happen like that? I like to think that it did. But what happened next when a certain young elf was escorted down to a very friendly establishment by a witch hunter. Wasn't expected, at least not by the elf. It was a very friendly establishment. Very friendly, as it turns out. As you look around yep, you've been in places like this before, but most normally to be on the hunt. Glad you haven't got your kids with you. Yeah. Yeah. This place is cheap.
What?
That's what's pretty disappointing. This place is cheap. It has a large golden hoop sitting on the outside. Although as one gets closer to it, you realise that it's probably made of brass. You can even hear, as you're going by, "Welcome to the brass, old love!"
Ah, I see.
None of them recognise her. You're not even sure why she wants to be here, which is curious in and of itself.
This doesn't seem to be your type of place, darling.
This is where I live.
Really?
As she staggers up some stairs.
Master, I'm coming. I'm coming home.
Can I cast an eye over the room to see if I notice anything unusual?
Well, it depends on how you define unusual. There are certainly some unusual activities going on.
The kind of activities that would interest me as a witch hunter, not
as a friend hunter.
not as a friend hunter.
That is a tough call.
Anyone who's not partaking and looking uncomfortable, for example.
No, not really. Indeed, many of them are much more comfortable now they're being watched.
Fair enough. Then I
The
should
elf
turn
appears
away.
to have gone up.
I'll follow her.
You find her banging on a door. She passes through it when it opens. And on the inside, there's an elf lying down, lounging on a chair with a glass of wine, completely naked. Long, dark hair hanging down onto the floor as he looks up and says, "Oh, you brought company. Why did you have to bring company?"
Company brought her. She threw up on the Emperor.
Master, what do you do when you find a man who is better than all the other men, but they don't want to look at you? I need your advice.
I have never been in that position. He says, "Ever. So what would I do?" "Well, it would be a first. I would probably do what you did. Be confused."
I am
"Unsure,"
confused.
he says as he swigs at his wine and then looks, "Who is your friend?"
This is,
Adela.
Adela.
Hudson.
Escort?
She's my mother now.
I've been called worse things.
You hear from the wall somebody saying, "Do you think they're gonna fuck him?"
Wash your mouth out with soap.
"Oh yeah."
Dirty, dirty boy.
As he looks at you and says, "You know, I have no interest in interaction in my room. Why are you even here?
I wanted your advice.
And what is wrong with you? What is wrong with her?"
She's drunk.
I'd have only had
She doesn't
wine.
get drunk.
Well, tonight apparently she does.
I was sick on the Emperor's feet, Master. Why? Why is this happening
You
to me?
chose to be, I presume?
No.
I don't care. I actually don't care. Go on, piss off. He says, "I have no real interest in this."
But Master,
"Why would I care?"
I got drunk on human wine.
Stop calling me master and get out of here.
Oh, yeah, of course, Master. Come on.
Where are we going now?
Let's
And
go
he
back to the
lounges.
party.
And he says, "Worship me." You hear, "Yes," with the soap.
And you
Good
sit there and
clarification.
Here to clarify.
With the soap, everybody.
So,
With the soap.
So,
do not clip that.
please click
that.
And loop it.
Meanwhile, back at the Kleiner Palats, Kyoko and the good fencer have finished their dance. As he says, "You are surprisingly light on your feet, my lady. I didn't expect that. I'm almost charmed."
I'm also not too bad with a sword.
Oh my goodness. He says, "How about..." And he looks around. "No, I probably best not say that in this room. Too many people listening."
Well, if you would like to go somewhere else.
I thought you'd say that. Maybe after another dance. I wouldn't like to leave poor old Siggy alone. He'll probably punch someone.
Of course.
And comes over and sits.
It's true. It's true.
Where
I'd love to
has-
disagree.
You
Where
promised.
has the elf gone? Have you scared her away?
No, I think what's her name? Went with her.
Nice.
I'm pregnant with your child. You can't remember my name.
A nod.
Adela?
I think it was more likely your boy here seemed to disgust her when he took some wine from her. You did.
Well, it was offered.
You just have this thing. Face.
Adjust the mask. Which has been slowly just as the glue goes a bit cramped. Put that back up.
The bad guys.
Yes, well, maybe that is the case.
I think it was.
Okay.
No offense, of course.
I am slightly offended, but that's fine.
Could you stop your squabbling for a second? You
Okay.
came with the elf.
Yes.
Was she this drunk when before coming here?
I wasn't paying much attention to her.
I
attitude
think
at
you
that
should
point.
if you were, otherwise
I've
engaged.
been to Nippon. Do you know that? I've been there.
Okay.
Nippon. Beautiful country.
Charmed. She's clearly been not poisoned with. I'm just gonna ignore it.
Well done. Well done. Bravo.
She's clear. It's not human poison. I've checked both the wine and her vomit, but clearly she is out of sorts. And if there is someone powerful enough to,
But you forget, my lady, she's not merely a courtesan, she's also an actor.
Quite an act.
yes, but she. I tested thoroughly. Let's just say, you can't always be acting.
She's selling her brand. She's making a show of it.
Are we like in a coach on the
Yeah,
way back or
on
something?
the way back.
The doorbell is sobbing.
Oh,
What's wrong with me? Why is this happening?
it's not you, it's him. He's an
It's definitely
arsehole.
her. It's definitely an act.
You
She's
can do
definitely putting
better.
it on.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
He's not
Why doesn't he love me?
He's not worth it, Tracy. I handed my handkerchief. There, it'll be fine. Maybe he'll get stabbed.
Zenekar says, "Maybe I should try and dance with the Emperor's daughter. What do you think?"
Go for it.
Please don't. Please don't.
I think that'd be hilarious.
What are you trying to achieve?
I don't know, some swordplay.
Well,
She's pretty enough.
with the Emperor's daughter.
Why not?
I don't know if she fights.
Different type of swordplay.
Oh,
Oh my. She rolls his eyes. Oh my. Why did you bring him?
He's friend.
from work.
From the university.
Are you getting him to do your work for you? Is that it?
No, certainly not. I'm better than him. I wouldn't have him writing essays for me. Man's a dolt.
Just
back up again.
A very
No, he
dear
does.
dolt.
He does have very
A
dolt.
real
swordplay.
dear who I admire very much, but you must confess, you said it yourself. You don't really care for
I
philosophy.
don't. All right, I don't know.
Well, Perhaps
This is a great villain origin story.
my boy, what excites you if not philosophy?
Well, I didn't like the elf. But she sort of got bored of me.
I meant more so in the academia sense.
Oh. Well, I
to
like
be
what
apparent.
what you do.
Elves, no.
Elf, yeah.
It's too late for you now.
What about just
You
learning
would have
about it?
Oh no.
You
won't
you
let
have
you do
a
that.
very neat handwriting.
I do have near need.
He has very neat handwriting. Legible. That's what the
That's
tutor said.
highly-
Legible.
High praise indeed.
No, I don't. I have no idea why I don't turn up for class.
It looks.
Legible
I mean,
handwriting.
No, but you missed the important part. You missed the discussion.
What did I
Zach.
miss, Siggy? Come on.
The discussion.
The discussion.
Discussion.
Oh, God. What nonsense are we discussing?
Well, Leonardo da Maragliano, for instance,
Oh,
his
God.
treatise on the relationship between water and light. It's fascinating.
It's nonsense. No.
Oh, not your kind of light.
No, I don't understand. It's garbage. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think you find he does.
No, it's garbage.
Nor philosophy. So that'll be 12 successes?
12 successes!
Because that's his 140 skills.
Tippy toppy.
He knows his philosophy, this Sigismund. Marking that down for later. Uh-huh.
Still find you wrong. You're young.
He says something,
You'll see.
something so clever, nobody understands what he says.
you said I was too old. Why?
Oh, what age are you, boy?
20.
Oh, well, maybe not. There's time yet, but it has to be in you from the start.
Right.
I think he's propositioning you.
No, not with that face, no. Let me be clear.
If you are propositioning him, I'll pay to watch.
You could always put a bag over his face.
Anyone else care to join in? I suppose in
Stop picking on him.
the face wouldn't be important.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't have to.
Sorry. Have a drink of wine. Stop picking on him.
No, simply building him up.
I really miss
You're wasted in
Senegal.
philosophy.
Right.
You're arriving. Conk, 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 conk,
We're back.
conk.
Why though? He's
Perhaps art
cruel
is more your
to
thing.
everyone.
But when I look at him, it's like the sun dims.
Yeah, because it can't stand the face of him. Ugh.
No funny. I like you. Shall we be friends?
Let's.
Excellent.
And of course, they were friends. There were just so many friends at court. He says, they're friends in wagons, in coaches, in the special rooms, and of course, the friendliest of establishments where all the elves were friends. However, there was still someone to arrive. The Count himself. The Grand Count was a man of exquisite taste, they said. It turned out that in truth, his taste was determined by his tailors, who, it had turned out, had bets with each other as to the most ridiculous outfit that the Count would be willing to wear. It was now on to its 5th year, but this was the first time the Count would attend a ball of his own hosting with an emperor. It is said, young children, that there are only so many colors in the world, and that some can see even more than we humans. Alas, the Elector Count did not know this. To the humans, he just looked like he was a particularly colorful fellow, with many pink, yellow, green feathers everywhere. But he did not realize that if one were an elf, you could see the large penis on his front. The elf tailor, in particular, had spent hours designing it in the hope that he could make one of his friends, a close ally and ambassador from the elves, break into laughter at court And that is the moment when the Elector Count comes down the stairs in his flamboyance, his arms raised up in the air, looking so happy with himself, the feathers flowing from his head as he swoops down. Sorry, Ralph. As he swoops down the staircase, gliding down, quite unlike his grandchild, the Elector Countess of Nuln, a known beauty, and from this single day, careful acquirer of dressmakers. Of course, the ambassador is at the bottom of the stairs to receive him and looks up and attempts to hold his nerve. As the Elector Count sweeps down, the whole room goes quiet because, of course, the Elector Count is coming. The Emperor himself has turned to look and going, yes, this is my friend. I am at his party. Zeneca trots sliding up slowly towards the Emperor's door. Everyone else is watching as he comes down looking marvellous. And the elf turns round and goes... and bows to take his eyes away from the sight that he saw before him, for it was made by elven hand and was detailed. The detail as the Count drew closer was too much for him. And as he bent over, he started to giggle. Incapable of holding his emotions in. And not knowing how best to handle himself, as the Adorabelle enters, the ambassador flees and just runs as the Count comes down the stairs and watches him run away. Looks at his outfit. I rather like it.
What a cock.
As he looks around and he says, well, I think if we ever get to the battlefield, he says, we'll be showing ourselves what for, won't we? As the Emperor looks on.
I like all the colours.
Why is he wearing a penis?
Sweetie, indoor voice, indoor voice.
Everyone turns round to look at the Adorable, who has arrived and is staring across the room at the Elector Count. Why, he called, is he wearing something that he would not normally be displaying in public? And of course, the elves in the room, the spell having been broken, are more than happy to mark this out, knowing that their rival, the dressmaker, is now in trouble. One immediately comes to the Elector Count's side and whispers in his ear, I shan't repeat what he said, but I shall tell you what the Elector Count did. Well, that's rather funny. This evening, as he pulls out his mask, which was even more unfortunate than his dress, you may call me Dickie. As he comes down the stairs. Meanwhile, back at the table, the Adorabelle had arrived and sat, along with the witch hunter, who could smell that something wasn't quite right in the air. Indeed, she had an unexpected concern, because, children, she was actually very good at her job. Very good at her job. Her order, the Order of the Gilded Ball, the very face that she wore upon her visage, hunted down particular creatures And as she sat there, she suddenly became aware that there might be one close by. Now, I don't want to scare you, children, but the word that we need to say is chaos.
Oh, he said a rude word.
And it was one of their demons.
Not scared.
No, should you be?
Throw my hand.
No.
This is only a story.
Sure.
No.
Come here.
No.
It isn't real, is it? This didn't happen, did it? Story or no? The witch hunter grew concerned.
I am concerned.
The Adorable will go around and try and find the chair that Zenokar was sitting.
This one right here. Sits down in the chair.
I don't want to worry anyone, but we may have.
Zenokar is currently dancing with the Emperor's daughter.
He's such a good dancer.
Yes.
You're such a good dancer, Zenokar!
Sorry, dear, you were saying.
Shh. Oh, naughty step for you. There's something not quite right here. I can sense.
He's sat right there.
Are those
You-
guards still there?
You promised. You gave me your word, Siggy.
I didn't actually give my word.
Yes, you did.
No, I very carefully didn't.
As a
Play the
fellow
tape.
commoner, I'm insulted by your words. But I have bigger fish to fry.
Fried
We'll,
fish.
we'll come back to that.
Yes, fried fish.
It should be soon. Now that he's arrived.
I ignore the idiots and continue to try and figure out, triangulate where my discomfort is coming
You don't
from.
know.
What are
You
you
never
worried
know.
about?
You just know it's there.
What are you worried about?
Shall we take a turn around the room?
Will we dance?
Yes.
It gives us a good view on all sides and we can be close to Zenokar.
Okay, but we have to go away from him as well.
I can do that.
It will look suspicious otherwise.
Yes, that will make it more pleasant once we approach again.
Fine. We take to the dance floor.
They take to the dance floor. Zenokar just lets go of the Emperor's daughter. She spins off a bit. No, I'm bored. And walks away from her. She goes, "Oh, wait, excuse me. Oh. Oh. As Zenokar has spied the elves taken to the dance floor and just walks and sits down.
Told you, he's not worth it.
And he looks over at the Emperor. Just looks at him.
Is the Emperor's daughter free now?
Yeah, yeah.
Do it.
Great. I'm going to go and try and dance with her.
This is going to end badly.
Siggy, see? Character
Wrong
building.
accent.
Character
This is going
building.
to end badly.
I've told him. I've put him down, driven him to do it. He'll be a better man for it.
You've pricked his pride, and now he's going to attempt to prove himself.
It's
Growth.
almost hilarious watching him be bowled down by the Imperial Guard for getting a bit too close as he scuds as one of them just grabs and pushes him away.
Is this the two guards who were watching me?
Nope. Bang, bang, bang.
No,
Wow.
Didn't want to anyway. Doesn't matter.
What are we looking for? I've got a sharp nose, ears,
Demons.
teeth.
Demons. She said demons.
Demons.
You could have told me that when we were with my master, and you might have had a good,
I couldn't sense them before.
senses on high alert. Perception. Intuition.
Perception test.
Is it perception or intuition?
Depends what you're looking for. It's perception.
Demons. I'm looking for demons.
Zenokar looks at you and says,
Yes.
"You're a better dancer than the Emperor's daughter."
You're such a flatterer.
No, I'm simply telling the truth. You are. Much better dancer than her. She was somewhat slapdash. No, I hope they're not going to hurt the poor boy. Oh no, they're dragging him over here. Which is worse. Oh, here he comes. Don't manhandle him, please. He's under my protection.
Get off.
Says, exactly. Exactly. So, cards. go off. Really. He's our guest. He shouldn't be mistreated by anyone but us. Inappropriate.
I'm proud of you.
Good job.
9 successes.
Nothing.
Cannot sense anything.
Yeah, nothing. As Zenokar leans in. I think I'm done with this. This whole thing. There's not really that much happening. It's just some dancing and some food, and I was hoping for something a little more. And I've killed someone, so.
Well, if we're to believe Adela, then there might be a demon around.
Wait, did we hear her at the table? Because she walked away.
Yeah, I assumed we hadn't.
Yeah.
I thought you had.
No, she said I'm not talking to the idiots.
Yeah, yeah, she said there was trouble.
But
And
she
we
was
all
like-
Said there was trouble.
I started talking
Fuck
about
off,
fry
yes.
fish.
Yeah, and
then,
you're just ignoring me, so screw you guys.
I might want to know about demons.
Well, yeah, when
How
we
well do we dance?
how well do we dance? That's it's a 70 skill. 2 fails, I stamp all over her feet.
6 successes.
I'm swollen.
But
Nicely done.
Theodora Bell's so drunk, she just falls over.
We keep trying to lead.
No,
It's
she's
really
not that drunk.
2 fails.
2 fails. Yeah, you're bad.
Well, I'm
It's
pregnant.
almost you're
My
only like
balance-
3 months pregnant.
Yeah,
you're
but
barely
my balance
showing.
is out. Shush.
I'll lead. I've got 6 successes. That should help.
Doesn't.
I'm not,
Stomp,
to be
stomp,
fair,
stomp.
I'm not really paying attention to the dancing because I'm.
Oh, I can't have
that
this.
makes a lot of
This
sense.
is an embarrassing. This is an embarrassment for Theodora Bell.
Start it out. Keep going. We'll work our way back to Zenokar.
He's at the table now.
I know, but if you go straight back to him, he's won. You've got to be aloof.
You're just gonna walk off, aren't
Yeah. Walks off.
I shall continue to walk around the edge.
There's still a smell.
As
Zenio boy,
yeah.
are you suggesting after party? Come on, after party? After party?
No,
After party?
no,
Sure, if
no.
that's what we do.
Look. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't do this student thing.
But you do drink.
Yes, of course I drink.
Well, that's what an after party is. We go
Oh.
somewhere else and we drink.
Is that it?
Somewhere more fun though.
This is quite fun. Boring, but fun.
Those two states are philosophically incompatible.
I don't
Here
do
goes
philosophy.
the philosophy.
I just don't.
Well, that's evident. That's why you need to come to some lectures every once in a while, little boy.
I get that one.
See, I rather think we should stay here for at least a while longer. Not fashionable to leave this early.
Adela says.
You're not being
Can I come
eyeballed
back?
by
Yep,
two
yep.
fucking Imperial Guards.
Adela says there's a demon here.
Another reason.
What?
What?
A demon.
Yes.
What? How?
I mean, like a mask?
I do not
Someone's
know if
dressed.
it was metaphorical or literal.
Is she currently just dancing by herself?
No,
She's walking around
I'm walking around the edge,
Yeah.
casually making my way back to the table. But the
Is
long
she
way
doing
round.
that kind of, you know, like the strut towards the dance floor?
I hear you think that there's something untoward afoot.
There is, I just can't pinpoint it.
What should we be looking for?
Did I hear correctly? You said a demon.
That's my job. Yeah,
Should we tell the authorities?
not until I can pin it down. I don't want to set hairs running.
Are there clues or signs we should pay attention to?
Yeah, but there isn't any showing. Literally none.
Yeah.
You can smell something off, but you can't pinpoint anything. It's
something-
vague. It's loose.
Does it smell floral?
No.
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 Sour and wrong.
Yeah, there's just something not right.
It's like the sound of chalk screeching down
Yeah. All the hairs on the back of
blackboard
my
or
neck are up, and I
a
never
balloon
ignore that.
squeaking along an edge. It's just going right through your ears. It's a smell. It's a sense. It's something just off.
You are a wizard. Can you wizard?
I can wizard. He'll look around the room.
Is that what wizarding looks like?
Holding it. He's a staff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks a lot like just standing there.
So it's witch hunting.
Everything seems clear to my senses.
Does it?
Yeah, it seems. I mean, it's no more or less than it was before.
I'm going to try and emulate that.
Look around.
Yeah.
Do yourself a perception test.
Yeah. Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything funny?
Perception
going on?
test. Oh, everyone's pulling that perception test now.
Perception.
We're all.
Pretty good skill.
Perception's 100, so
My
uh,
perception-
More successes.
My perception's
Nice
140 and I got nothing. So
Yeah.
just so you guys
Just-
know.
just so
It's
we
not
know.
+4 though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
added
so
that.
If you succeed.
I
Oh.
succeeded. I got 9 successes and I still got there's nothing here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I got 9
Sorry.
successes on the dice.
Uh-huh.
For my perception.
And what's your skill at?
100.
Okay, so that's 9 successes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nothing extra. Something's wrong, and that's about as much as you can feel. Zenekar looks at everyone peering around like they've suddenly gained telescopes.
Does everyone know she's pregnant?
No.
Ah,
She's not sure.
Pity
Sadly.
comment.
I mean, she's
she's
spoken
made them.
quite openly
I
about
have.
it.
No,
That's
not
it.
at the table.
I mentioned swollen ankles, but I suppose you
Yeah.
can take that. didn't
She
you?
did also say, like, that
Want some other one?
you wouldn't be having any more children because you were going to cut my bits off. You did also say that.
I didn't
Blacked
hear
out
that.
for
We
that
didn't
bit.
hear that.
Oh yeah, I
I didn't
totally
hear
did.
that either.
She definitely did.
Oh, I wish I had.
Yeah, she
You
did.
can watch it later, Anthony.
I will.
Yes.
Tomorrow's Andy. Make sure you catch that. Zenekar leans in and says, "So where are they? Is this something that we can actually do something about? Because I'll be honest, it's much better than this rigmarole.
I can narrow it down. It's
I've
just...
never done anything quite so exciting."
Are there ways to make them show themselves?
Why don't you
Oh
just
my
go
God.
out the room and see if you still feel it out there?
Hmm.
If you don't, you'll know it's in here.
Could it maybe be below us?
Or above us.
Do you
Because
know-
it's tiered, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
Which tier are we on? The bottom?
You're right in the bottom.
Right. Yes, let's go upstairs.
Maybe that's where they keep the fried fish.
Sure, why
I'm
not?
never getting drunk with you again. Yes.
Because you're always pregnant.
Well, somebody's got to repopulate the world. Unfortunately, we're going to have another one of you. Explains why he keeps punching my bladder.
Nice.
So you're going up and wandering around as higher tier?
Yes.
Anyone going with her?
Yes, I will escort you.
Oh, there
Oh,
we go.
Finally. A gentleman appears. Lead on, darling.
So the pair of you go up. What's everyone else doing?
Kyoko
Zenekar
will go-
is just leaning back, just looking on. Is she just full of bullshit? That's what it seems like, isn't it?
Who?
The girl.
Wasn't
The one that he's run off with.
there lots of demons in Nippon?
I really wish I could just ignore you.
I feel I'm correct in this.
There are spirits. Not so many in the part where I'm from.
But could it be a spirit? Is that what she's sensing?
It's not my area of expertise. We prefer killing them rather than having to actually deal with them.
But usually the answer here as well.
Yes, but it's a little more obvious when they come along.
Fine people, these Nippon people. Great people.
Of course. Yes. Where did you go?
Oh, all over really.
Yes. Fair enough. I'm surprised you're still alive.
No Nippons, you're 140.
You know what? I shall go and see if I can spot any of those spirits, and she'll get up and go towards, I don't know, the hottest person she can find close by.
Is that to be me?
Other than Zenekar Trot.
Yeah, there are an entire room full of mask-wearing individuals who have hot-looking bodies, but not necessarily hot-looking faces.
I guess they're wearing a mask. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just pick one and just go chat them up.
Charm test.
Cool. Okay. That's my 140 skill.
Excellent. You two, do your self-perception test.
How do?
So you can just
Nine
roll successes.
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 Oh, okay.
We are.
Rolled my skill, bang on.
Nicely
Yeah.
done. It feels less as you reach the top, as you're doing your tour. It feels less
Yeah.
for you.
It's definitely
In your
downstairs.
instance, yeah, everyone is a bit weird. Now, that's a really odd statement to make, but as he's looking down, he feels a little less drunk, a little less
Punchy?
unsure. Up here, a bit calmer, a bit more certain. A bit less likely to just, I don't know, throw a punch perhaps, or insult someone you actually quite like.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same for yourself.
Yeah.
You've been back talking
very
all
sorry.
day. You're actually horrified. He's a noble. He's a noble that you were trying to entice, trying to bring to your side, and you're doing the opposite. You're driving him away,
What's going on?
and you feel a bit sick.
This is not like us at all.
No.
Oh, this just tells me there's something weird going on. I'm so sorry if I offended you
Well,
earlier.
the same,
charm
my
test.
dear.
I got 8 successes.
Are you willing to withdraw? Do you wish to do yourself a perform bod test?
Let's go for hot pod.
Your
I'm
partner has
investigating.
9 successes in perform bod.
Cool. Sure, I'll roll.
You've scored.
I got 56, so even if it was
56 successes. 5 successes, marvelous.
successes.
Unless it's a score that's over 100. Skill, pardon me. No, so 5 successes.
Unless
Good
it's
job
charm
up
again.
above. Nicely done. Off in a quiet room.
check if they're a demon in the meantime, but like I doubt
Just
it.
on perception test as you're busy.
Got
Yes.
the demon.
Knowing
Tugan.
where
Tugan.
Tugan gets to,
Yes.
right, with things and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't in this
Yes.
is he as human goes,
Yeah.
or is there
Yeah.
some?
There's literally nothing about it. He's just a young man.
is there any
Mistreated by
underlying
nobility.
No, nothing.
elements?
Literally nothing. He's just a young man.
Right. Well, then if that's
And
the
he's
case-
got no nefarious intent. He's not evil. He's just a young man.
Ooh, there's something going on here.
yeah. You know,
Yeah, methinks the GM doth protest too much.
you're so this you know, and you said it can come on late. When did it arrive for you?
Oh, very young for me. Very young indeed.
Right.
That's why I'm such a talented wizard.
I'm so glad I left.
Yes.
That's why I rose
What do
so
you-
far in my order as well.
What do you do with your magic?
Well, you know, kill things mainly,
Right.
but big things, not little pissy things like the brights. Just big things.
Oh, okay. Is it true that you can sort of? I heard that people can make gold appear. Is that true?
Yes.
That's you, people.
No.
Oh, who's that?
The Gold College.
I thought it was a bit too sort of on the nose.
No,
but that
it's,
is
they're not very creative over there. Just gold, metal.
okay.
The wind is called Chaman.
It's called
Chaman.
Chaman.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you might be up to something.
Okay.
Did
Interesting.
Theodora Bell know that doesn't sound quite right?
Damn straight she does.
What did you say it was called?
Chaman.
And what's your wind called?
The hi hish.
And the others?
There's Akshai. And so on and so forth.
Are you, sir, a wizard?
Yes. Why would I not have all of this accoutrement? And this license.
Let me have a
Do you
look
want
at
to
your
see
license.
my license?
I mean, meanwhile, up with us, I was literally about to say, I don't think he's a wizard.
Yeah, he was. It's like, yeah.
if he were a wizard and you told him there was a demon, don't you think he should do something about that?
Or at least spot it.
Yeah, I mean, he,
Seems
very common.
entirely legit.
It's a bit of a
Yeah.
twat.
well, yeah, that doesn't
Have
mean
you
that
ever
means he's a wizard.
had wizards, Your Grace?
Looks at you. Pardon?
Does this look normal?
I've had wizards.
Well, is this the kind of thing they carry?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to the paperwork.
There you go.
Thank you. Seals it away. Bit odd asking to see a man's license, but okay.
Why would you question?
Grr, there's another one. That odd grey wind, the oogity boogity.
Okay. That sounds very interesting.
Adela!
It's over. Everything okay? You should.
That's not the sort of thing you would do.
No,
shouting down across a ballroom.
No.
No.
But we.
You though, yes.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We've,
we and
I'll try and catch
Bells
Zenikar's
jingle.
eye. I'll be like,
Zenekar just looks at you.
He wants you to come.
I don't care.
Oh, I would have thought you might have liked that.
No,
Never
I have
mind.
no desire.
Goes upstairs.
Runs off.
if we can catch the eyes of any of the others around the table.
yeah.
She's not
I'm
there.
busy.
She's
Yeah,
making
she's
new
gone.
friends.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Okay.
I want him, but you can come.
Sure.
He definitely has seen it.
Yeah, you can come along.
Frank's coming.
I'm being called up. Do you want to come?
Okay, Frank's coming as you are no longer coming, so it's probably time to go. Marvelously.
Cool. I had rolled a 5 in perception.
Yeah, nothing. Literally nothing. It's odd. You're not entirely sure what they're talking about. Clearly some sort of...
No, I for the person.
But she's not shagging a demon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay,
this
good.
is fine.
Good. Good.
Yeah, pardon me.
That one.
Just a demon
Really
shagger.
clever.
Merry Christmas, everyone!
Well, you may have to be made somehow.
As you give up, as you come out, and has everybody gone except for Zenekar Trot going upstairs?
Yeah, I think so.
Zenekar's there, looks over at you. Hello, darling. It seems you're back.
Yes, I was investigating. No,
Are you lying?
no, of course not. I mean, I'm trying to avoid getting married, if that's what you mean.
Just you're very pretty. Thought you might make a good wife. I'm married. She says, I really don't like her.
Well,
Foisted upon me by my father. Isn't that always the case? Oh, my eyes are rolling so hard I can see my brain.
I totally relate to you on that one, my lord.
Yes. I avoid it. If I were you, I'd avoid it.
That's what
Marriage
I'm
is
trying.
for idiots. But sometimes we have no choice, do we?
No, sometimes it is useful though.
Everyone's gone up the stairs if you're wondering where they went.
Oh, for this demon business.
Oh. It's just an excuse for her to get some time with Siggy.
Oh yeah?
You know, she's been looking for any moment to get some time with him. Meanwhile, upstairs, yeah, you're feeling less drunk, a la men are drunk.
Oh,
See, something odd is going on.
A little less drunk up here, but only a little. Where in your case, oh, you've done some very foolish things. And it's all sort of hitting you. Approaching the Emperor's daughter is probably not the best thing to do. And some of the conversation choices, oh my goodness. Why did you do that?
Don't worry, we've all.
You. It was hard enough to get. Now you. Oh, you. Oh my
So
goodness.
you think this was the influence of whatever it is you sensed down there?
Yeah, and it's very diffuse.
what if it is a heavy gas?
But did it? You two went away. Like you left the palace,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't feel it then.
No. So, and to be fair, it's only recently that I've become aware of it, which suggests it's maybe just arrived or made itself
But if
known.
it was what was making me so punchy, I
I'm
was rather
bored. You fancy
punchy
fucking?
before.
I wonder if there's something in the
All right,
drinks.
let's go.
Refractory periods aren't a thing. Let's just put that.
It's been a little while.
So young.
They're all babies.
And Frank has peered down. Oh, there is something.
Oh, thank you.
Why don't you even know how to pronounce the winds properly?
What do you mean?
It's not oogity boogity. It's Olgu.
What's the difference?
Algu.
You also know saying it correctly can be difficult sometimes. It can have effect.
You know what I mean. Does it make a difference how I pronounce it?
Anyway, let's
yes,
focus
there's
on.
something,
Yeah,
but it's coming from further down.
Yes,
It's not coming from
but we can think
above.
clearer here. So let's do the thinking here and the dealing with downstairs.
Is there another floor above?
No, you're on the
We're
top. I mean, there might be more above it if you go out and go up.
Let's go along to the other end and see if it's even less there.
Yes.
And children, they looked around for quite some time. They went up and they went down and they went around, but they did not expect
That's
what they
just you, mate.
finally found. Deep beneath the ballroom, they found a summoning circle
Knew it.
with 8 points and runes about its edges. Now, you might not know, children, what a summoning circle is, nor should you, but the monks are not here. So let us just have a moment to consider what it is exactly that they saw. An 8-pointed star, if you should see one of these, run. Letters they did not understand, called runes. And of course, candles snuffed out. There was still the slight reek of smoke in the air. Yes, it looks like the circle's deed had already been done.
Damn it.
And that, of course, was a terror for those who had just encountered said circle. Now, by this point, the good lady Kyoko had had many friends. But even she had reached a point where her compatriots, the ones she was perhaps less friendly with, well, besides one, had run the course. So, of course, she had made her way down also, looking for her friend. They didn't know what to do. Well, there was 2 people here who may perhaps be able to resolve it. First was the witch hunter. She had an opinion as to what to do. Her opinion was to
Destroy it.
Meanwhile, there was an alternative opinion coming from the wizard. He suggested
We can reactivate it and trap the demon.
We
It's
should
already been loose.
We should have no more. We need to know.
Destroying the circle does not give us anywhere to bind him once more.
We need to find it. We need to destroy it. And then we need to destroy any means to reclaim it.
Yeah, we don't want to. Well, accent. We don't want to bind the demon, do we? We want to destroy it.
Yes.
Well, first we
Vanquish
need to
it.
capture it.
Do we?
How are you going to destroy a loose demon? Do you have experience in that, Siggy?
No, but
No.
I've read stories.
I have experience.
He
Have
has
you though?
experience.
and they began to discuss how best to proceed. Children, it is fair, from an outside perspective, for us to make judgment upon them, but fear filled their hearts, and the influence of this entity also influenced them in turn. But what could be said for certain was they had no idea where the entity may be, and the Emperor himself and the Grand Duke were above. Destruction on one side or reactivation of the circle to immediately bring the demon back to where it was summoned from, taking it away from any potential danger that it may offer. Both plans seemed sound to them, but only one had a potential outcome that led to the demon being captured. And all could see that unfortunately it may revolve around activating a circle. They were unsure. How, children, would they act? Would they consider this to be the correct step forward? Unfortunately for them, they weren't even sure how to activate it. The wizard, for all he was sure it could be done, Might have to make a test to see if he actually knows how to do it, which we will do after the break. Ho, 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 ho. All the children listening to my story, pay heed for what is about to occur. Because as you know, there are certain entities in the world that should not be ever brought together with mortal men.
Does it even eat them?
Well, you are about to find out, little one. Because they are about to try and stop it from wreaking havoc inside the court. However, it turns out that trying to stop such an entity when all you have is the remains of what brought it into the world in the first place is not as easy as one may think. The wizard was unsure if he understood the runes. He had some experience with this, but not as much as he would like to have had. Indeed. Wizardy check! Lord Magic!
That'd be 12 successes.
Holy crumoleons.
Maybe I should go and ask my master for advice about this rather than
For the table's reference, that was an 87. How close. And I would have totally let it stand if it was
Of course
me.
you would.
We've been apt.
Yeah.
And of course, he looked at the runes, and slowly but surely he began to understand. This circle was aimed to summon a particular type of entity. And there would be only one way to bring it back, and that was to re-utter what had first been said, to bring it into the place in the first instance. He was not happy with how the evening had progressed. It wasn't the outcome he expected, yet here he was, looking at a summoning circle beneath the ballroom, where the Emperor danced. And slowly, but surely, he realized what the sounds were and what to do with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we agreed. We'll attempt to recapture the demon.
And then kill it.
Of course.
Yes. I'm
if
on
you're
board.
sure you can do
Siggy?
that.
You look very skeptical.
How are you going to kill it?
This is my order's business.
And
She said you didn't even know how to say the words right.
I know how to say the words that are important. I may pronounce other things wrong, but this is my vocation.
I trust him.
He did say hi, Shrine. Didn't he?
He didn't.
He said hey.
See, I'm more important.
That's how she says hush.
To trap this demon again, we will all have to say the words very, very carefully, in order. There can be no mistakes, because that could be terrible.
The issue was that the summoning circle, children, had not been put in place by a wizard. It had been put in place by 6.
Water coolants.
I don't get it.
Zeneca doesn't think so. And at the corner of the room, with his large drink that he'd been pouring, he looks on and says, "Not a coincidence at all. I don't think you'd have no fun. Because I'm not going to do it, obviously.
Of course,
Of course not.
I mean, I'll just purposely mess it up, just to see what happens.
And this is why you would not be trusted with this.
Well,
But
I'm
I
being
think
honest.
the rest of you understand the gravity of this situation.
Of course.
I love your honesty.
Of course you do.
Gravity, yes. I'm still not entirely convinced that this is a plan, however.
The plan is
Plan
to say
by
the
who?
words, bind the demon.
Or let it kill the Emperor and the Elector Count.
Do you have any weaponry for when it turns up?
I need to acquire some. I will go and find a sword.
Maybe two?
You might need more than
Many.
a sword.
Once it's
Okay.
bound, will it be able to move?
No, it will be trapped within the circle.
Zeneca,
Well, then can't we just
you
do
can
it now?
help us.
Oh, I really doubt it.
We
I-
need weapons.
I'm sure you do. Well, if you want weapons, go find them. He's going to be dealing with. He's the witch.
Oh, come on, you're very charming. You
There's
can
literally
help.
nothing to do. He's
You will
gonna
find
deal
that
with
I
it. He's
am
the
not a
witch.
witch,
Of course you
young
are.
man.
You're a witch.
If he was a witch, I'd be hunting him. So I know. Come on, come and help
Witches
us.
are witches whether
We
you're
don't-
hunting them or not. I'm not going anywhere.
Can we just bind it and stop squabbling? This
I
is
need to understand that everybody is going to do their part.
I won't do my part.
Yes.
It is my purpose.
Chugi,
You, as a witch hunter, I will defer to you on this.
Mm.
Us all mutter an incantation around a summoning circle. This doesn't seem like the normal thing we do to destroy demons. This sounds like the kind of thing you do to summon demons. This seems entirely
Well,
wrong.
we are summoning it to this place because it's loose in the building.
But
That's
then
exactly it, yeah.
And this will work.
But yes, I think it's the best plan we have.
I will trust you.
Absolutely.
I
Between
don't
the
trust
two
you,
of us.
but I'll trust you.
you don't trust a wizard of the Light Order.
I don't trust you because you're an arsehole. But I trust her because
I
I'm
may
not
be
an
an
arsehole.
arsehole, but I'm about my business, boy.
Mhm.
I understand this.
I think.
Stop calling me boy.
I think between.
You are younger than me.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. Just stop calling me boy.
I think between the
I
two.
know
of
why you're
us,
doing
Act like a
can
man.
we stop squabbling
It's the
when we
demon.
have important business
He's
to
going
do?
to, but he is intentionally aggravating me. This is
It's
not
the
accidental.
It's the
Or-
demon's impact.
or is it?
Rise above it.
It could be exactly what happened up there when you just punched someone in front of
Yes,
the emperor.
But I'm not
You
anymore.
need to throw up.
You are squabbling
I'm
with
going
him.
to go
Yeah, but I'm
and
not
look
gonna
for some
punch him.
No,
weaponry.
it's
And I'm not
But you don't need weaponry.
Could Kyoko have
might
hidden
do
Will squabble with you.
like her weapon in under her
I've had a
skirt kind of
conversation
thing?
around you now.
Kyoko will
Okay,
just
Kyoko.
pull out her sword from under her skirt.
Oh,
See, if you'd let me wear mine.
Gather weapons,
Yes.
just
So-
in case someone
Right.
makes a mistake.
I.
I shall stand here, make sure nobody tries to come and destroy it.
Great.
So what, are we gathering in 15,
I
30?
I will need to study the runes very carefully. I will need to focus. Siggy, I know we've had a laugh back and forth, but let me focus on this.
Of course.
We need to make this right.
I'm convinced of the plan now.
The very Empire could hang on this decision.
Would you tell me what you're doing?
I suppose if you're concerned about it, you should start to work fast.
yes.
Because if it's going to do its business and it's doing it now, you're already going to be too late.
Yes.
He says, that would be unfortunate.
Should we?
He will allow Chugan if I don't think you'd understand much, but you can observe.
I could try and help.
Well, you can observe.
You seem like a smart guy. It should be fine. Let's go find some weaponry.
How long do you need?
10, 15 minutes,
10, 15 minutes.
just to make sure.
Go.
Right. I look forward to your return. I'll have a drink. I'll admit I'm quite looking forward to watching this.
She's basically going to spend the time. 6 points that he'll need to go through. And he's going to look at each symbol, consult it
Yep.
with his grimoire,
Yep.
understand. He's writing notes as well, just to make sure, and he will write a note at the back of his grimoire, tear the page out, and he'll do that 6 times or 5 times. And he's going to consider it, and he's basically at this point, unless you want me to roll anything, but
No. Yep,
he's
you've got it
waiting
right.
for you to return with weapons.
Well, you've got some weapons.
That's good.
We found some.
Oh, yeah. The place is full of them. And
Excellent.
for all you may have been born common, you're a noble now. You are married to a noble. You're in a position where you can say, just give me your frickin' weapons. They'll be like, all right, there you go. You're quite used to the position of command when required. Easy. You have weapons. You can bring them down.
Look what I've found.
Zenokar goes, I'm sure that'll be useful.
You'd be surprised. Hand them over.
Plan for everything, Zendikar.
If
Plan
nothing
for
else,
everything.
even if not useful for the demon, someone summoned it, right? So
Yes.
they may come back.
That is what I'm hoping. I'll admit that is what I'm waiting for. There's going to be a certain level of repercussion from all of this, I'm sure.
Have you used a sword before?
I will take. Do you have any halberds? Because I figure it's just point the pointy end at somebody.
Swords are fairly straightforward. It's more of a slashing motion than a poking motion.
Can
Alright.
scan.
You'll be fine. Just put some welly behind
Give
it.
him a sword.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
You're such a good mum.
So he's going to walk
Thank you.
through,
I've had a lot of practice.
and he's going to place everyone in front of a sigil. So Alamena White will place in front of the first one, hand you a piece of paper. That paper will say she.
She.
Yeah, you might want to write that down. You'll place Atelga's mother.
Adela.
Adela.
We've all got Atelka
in the
on the
next
brain.
one, and he'll hand you the piece of paper that will say Rue.
Rude.
You'll take Siggy, hand him the third one. That will say Tar. Jugal, you'll get G. Write it down, please, Ed.
That's all right.
Ed.
Everybody else write it down for Ed.
And then Kyoko, you'll place next to him. You will get Ta. Now, everyone, it is important that this is said in a smooth manner. Once I nod to the Adora Bell, we go as smooth as possible. No input from you.
Well, I wasn't going to give any input other than I'm rather enjoying this. Let us see where this ends. I'm hoping that it works. I should like to see whatever it is that I'm not supposed to see.
Before we start, can we hit the thing inside the circle, or will that break it? Like if it gets trapped in there? How will we?
The circle is broken, it will be free and you can attack it. But if the circle remains, you should have no need to attack.
Okay.
But it's good to be
It will be
prepared.
bound. Yeah.
Right.
So you'll take.
Do you have to do some sort of ritual before you say anything? If that's the case, then perhaps I'll get myself some chicken. He says, I'll be back soon. He's back very quickly with a leg of chicken.
So he will take it at the moment. He'll.
You'll have more, if you wish to say something before he's back, you've got more than enough time.
Yeah.
You've got to go pop to the end of the corridor, summon some servants, get the chicken, come back with his chicken so he can sit down with his chicken and his drink and watch.
So he will mutter a couple of incantations, channeling.
You're going to need to do tests for each of them. First is the ritual test, language, magic, and then a channeling test right after.
Cool. So 7 successes.
Sweet, good start. And the channeling.
Channel. Another 7 successes.
Sweet!
So the holy light Heish just envelops the room.
Okay, maybe he is a wizard.
And then he'll take 3 big deep breaths. And he will nod to Adora Bell.
And as soon as he nods to the Adora Bell, she will say, she.
Rude.
Ta.
G.
Ta.
Rue.
There's a... and it fades out. Wasn't smooth enough.
Okay.
But in the center, there was a deathly shudder. Don't worry, children, he says. Even should they succeed, the outcome might not be quite what you expect. Try again. Language magic
Yeah.
first.
We need to be smoother. We need to be quicker. Like we're saying the word ourselves from the beginning. But don't do that. 9 successes. The first, that was the ritual one. 5 successes. And 3 successes.
She.
Rude.
Ta.
G.
Ta.
Rue.
Oh, I'm going to test on that one. Oh. In the center, reality itself twists, shifts slightly, Stop looking at chat.
Sorry.
Sniff slightly as it was, I saw that. You out there in the chat giving them things. Merry Christmas, all. And it's not enough. Try again.
You can do it.
We can do this. Just smoother. 7 successes.
Okay, 7. And I'm counting this with my fingers.
2 successes. And another 2 successes.
And?
You nod.
She.
Tar.
G.
Tao.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's... Children, don't be too concerned because the ritual was a success. This, of course, is a good thing, is it not? As in the center of the circle, something spun and spiraled into life. But it wasn't quite what it should have been. For there was a certain ritual requirement that had not quite been met. Meaning that what arrived didn't quite match the intention. And in the center of that circle, there was a tear, a rip, as if the world itself were like woven fabric, and that someone had taken the weave and pulled in the middle. The unraveling began, and in the center, it began to spin, twist, and colors, children, so many colors. Colors quite unlike any you have seen. Colors that lie beyond simple outfit choices. Colors that made the onlookers bleed from their eyes at what they saw. Such an event is not something that can be easily remembered or easily seen. Indeed, only one of them would remember this day with any clarity, or he had succeeded. But the question was, whom? I imagine, children, you have a strong idea. But I also imagine you might be wrong. You're young and foolish children. Children don't understand the ways of the world, do they? I mean, the monks. They purposefully keep you blindfolded like me. And he opens his eyes wide. My white eyes see nothing. I am blind. Nothing can be seen by me. Nothing at all, yet I see still. I see you all here. I can sense you. I can hear you. You are here. What did they see that day? Zenekar Trot, who sat in the corner of the room. Oh, he remembered something. The twisting in his belly. Awakening in the room upstairs. With no awareness at all of what had occurred down there. None. You wouldn't even remember this night, let alone what had occurred by that circle. The others were not quite in the same place. Sigismund of House Jungfreud. Now he remembered all too well what he saw that day. He remembered it clearly. He just didn't know how he found himself back in the ballroom. What had transpired between speaking that word and arriving there filled him with worry. All of his suspicions were perhaps true. The Adorabelle, the elf, who surely of all of them had the most insightful eyes, as it turned out, no. She was sitting on Sigismund's lap, utterly unaware of how she got there, completely confused, It was as if time itself had simply stopped and restarted with her there. Smooth transition. That was her appearance of it all. And the witch hunter, poor Hudson, who was so keen to destroy that demon. She found herself at the table also, with the dawning realization that it had not worked according to plan, that the demon had somehow managed to influence those around it. Somehow. It had influenced, and it slipped away. Her memory of the event was weak. She could half recall coming up the stairs in a panic, knowing that it had somehow slipped free, but she couldn't quite understand how. And then, of course, there was Kyoko. Oh, Kyoko was angry. The spirits had tricked her. She could sense it. She could sense it. The thing they had summoned was a fox. A trickster! A trickster had been summoned into their midst. And it had run right through their minds, so swiftly, so sharp. She had just a moment to see it. The 9 tails, the 9 eyes, all gazing deep into her soul. And finding herself at the top, back by that table, filled her heart with anger. Because this should not be. It could not have been if she had not been there. The ritual had gone wrong. They hadn't summoned the demon from her perspective. In fact, they'd summoned a different one. And she felt quite responsible for it. Of course, would she say that as he places his hand down upon the book and says, well, only she would say. Children. Of course, then we have Edgar. Frank. The wizard. And he was angry. Livid. This was his province. And whilst he may have been somewhat under the influence and a joker by character, to see this demon slip free from his grasp, and worse, to not recall it, was anathema to him, a failure. And his heart was almost stilled with terror for what it could mean. And besides, was not the Emperor himself now in danger? The fear was within him. And then, of course, there was Johannes Lucan. Of course, there was the man who had been so spurned and slighted. An intelligent man, yes. Certainly the sharpest at the table. Although he was constantly talked down by others. He was not so unhappy with the outcome. Because someone else had failed, not him. It was as simple as that. Petty, perhaps. Someone else had failed. And he got to watch on. If they'd done it properly, this probably wouldn't have happened. And they find themselves at the table quite unsure of how to proceed. But one thing's certain, there's one demon out there. Another thing is potentially certain. There may be 2. And it is at this point that of all of them, it was Sigismund who made the realization. Why were there no wizards in the hall except for Edgar? Not one. He's unsure why his mind was so slow in realizing this, but there was not one. He was unaware of any particular event notification. No wizards allowed. Which suggests a nefarious alternative. Or maybe they are all seeking the very thing you were attempting to seek. Well, Zenekar trot. Shrugged. And children, they realized that possibly they'd really, really, really made a mistake. Would you like a drink? Would you like a drink? Would you like a drink? Oh, I say, sir. Captain dear Dorabelle. Would you like a drink? As the dawning realization hits you all.
Anybody remember how we got back here?
No, not
I
clearly.
don't remember. Maybe.
Why were there no other wizards other than you, Edgar? Doesn't the Emperor normally have wizards to protect him?
How do you know there isn't any? They just may not be mingling with the guests.
But they're not. Look at the gesture, they're not here. I mean, they may be in the palace, but they're not here. Has this been planned?
If we could get back to the Golden Hoop, perhaps my master would be able to help us. He is a better wizard.
And, children, the elf was quite adamant. The rest of them were a little unsure how to proceed. They discussed it, in and out, up and down, and realized that none of them actually had an answer. Perhaps they should try again, but the fear of failure was strong. What if they were to summon a third? Or even a fourth? Of course, children, they did not know what to do. The elf, however, she did have one potential route out, and she asked her master, down where they like to make lots of friends. Oh my God, you've come twice in the night. Why are you here? Do you not realize I'm working?
Master,
I am working.
Master, I think there's a demon on the loose, maybe two.
And?
Well, what should I do?
I don't care.
But it might kill all the people in the palace.
Well, at least something interesting would happen. We don't know everyone's going to die anyway. What difference does it make?
Well, I don't want them to die now, Master. Don't...
You, Alan Manoel, are a whiner. You whine all the time. You just come to my door. I'm working. Can't you see they're all looking at me? I like that.
Well, they won't be able to look at you if the city is consumed in
Well,
a
I
rain of
won't
blood
let them
and terror.
take the brass hole then. That seems a fair trade. Oh, admit me, there's no city. They'll get very confused. Oh, look, I don't want to have anything to do with this, but why don't you go to 4 doors down? If there's demons, just send slayers after them.
Right.
Although maybe you wouldn't be the wisest choice to go.
Mm.
They make you look like happiness and sunshine in the whining stakes. For goodness sake, it was thousands of years ago! I need wine. Give me wine. By the way, wine. Give me wine now. Do they not get over anything? Can they not just have peace? Peace is all we ask for. But no, only a bloody beard. Do you realize how much hair they cut?
No.
Do you realize? Well, of course you don't, because you want that. Because you don't remember. That's better. I could have made that more dramatic. I'll try again.
Right. I will listen.
You were there. But you... No, the moment's gone. Go speak to them. No, don't you dare speak to them. Find someone else to speak to them.
Of course, Master. Thank you so much.
Oh, don't mention me.
Of course.
Or you.
Of course.
Or do. I can never tell with them. They're so annoying. No, excuse me, I need to pose.
Right. There's some slayers 4 war rooms down. We could set them on the demons.
I've heard worse ideas.
I mean, they're slayers, but are they finders?
And of course, they sat outside the brass hole debating whether approaching dwarfs was at all a good idea. Slayers being unleashed upon the imperial palace? Children, it is fair to say that that is an unwise choice at the best of times, but they were worried, they were concerned, and they didn't really have the necessary skills to hunt down these creatures themselves. So they went for a different option. 4 doors down. Just 4 doors. And what a difference between that friendly place, where so many people were friends. They rather enjoyed each other's company there. Not here. Not here. It was a dirty establishment, filled with the muck and the filth of life. Not the sort of place that young children like yourself would ever frequent. No, no. Quite the opposite. And it stank of vomit, because when you drink too much of what they were drinking, you tend to, like the Adorabelle, let loose. And one of them, when they arrived, was doing that with a hacking cough.
Ew.
Lift up one's skirts. Step over it.
So who is going to the inn?
Highlander noble.
Good,
Feels like it's my duty.
good start.
And I guess we'll come from a SME perspective.
I'll follow.
Subject
Talking
matter
about
expert.
Mario.
Nice.
It's a me.
Merry Christmas.
Sorry, again.
That was bad. So who's going in? One? Anyone else? Or you're going to hang around outside?
I don't really like wizards either.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Maybe we
I'll
should
go.
look at...
I'll
We'll go.
come to.
1, 2, 3.
I don't know how they feel about Nepalese people, so I'll stay outside.
You probably couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. I don't want to smell what's inside there, so I'm gonna stay outside.
That seems fair.
The 3 of us will go in then.
You go in. Slayers. Slayers aren't the only ones inside this particular tavern. There are also dwarves. It appears that this is a small, mini-dwarven inn amongst all the rest. And first thing to note is that dwarves in the good old Warhammer world, just in case you don't know out there, aren't actually that small. They're not sitting around about 3 foot tall. Most of them come up to about here on humans. They're just a bit shorter. And so much broader. So much broader. The average dwarf weighs a good 2 to 3 times that of your average man. And their hands are huge. All of them have crested hair. And as you come in, all of them smell like they've not had anything to wash for a long time, or anything close to that. Gosh, they stink. And indeed, the 4. One of them has got white hair, then orange hair. He hasn't dyed it for a while. His head, however, is shaved nicely. The next one, very short-sheared, with a huge beard. The sort of beard you'd expect he's probably going to trip over. Because, really, how are you going to keep that one out of the way?
Tuck in his belt.
Maybe a bit too much of it. Going to need to be a really big
wrap it
belt.
around-
Wrap it round
his
tight
belt.
at the back.
Use it to store his weapons.
Yeah. The third is nursing a tankard with his hand on his head, rolling it like so. And the 4th has 2 jugs of ale sitting on her 2 jugs.
Okay.
So 4 jugs of ale.
Yeah. It's a binge, that.
That's what you're...
That's how dwarves make cocktails. 2 different beers.
Swish, 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 swish.
Well,
there you go. There's
before
your
I
flares.
approach them,
Yes.
can my 100 skill
Mhm.
be lower dwarfs, given my mother's particular
Perfect!
interest in
Very
dwarfs?
appropriate for good old young Freud's too.
It's a pass, but no successes. I just rolling really low today.
You got a fortune point?
It's a pass. You can't
Wait,
roll.
the finger's up.
They are dwarves.
You are in a trap.
Like father, like son.
Sorry.
For +1. You boost it.
Oh yeah, I can boost it for 1 extra.
Mhm.
I spend if I've got a fortune point.
A
privilege point?
No, none.
No
We have
privilege
none.
points.
No privilege points or
Even
anything for this one.
Wow, daddy.
Yeah.
Well then, yeah.
Daddy. One of those streams.
Get the choker.
What I will give you is that the correct etiquette is to be direct, straight, and blunt.
I'll do pig.
Demon, go.
That way.
You chaps are slayers.
All four heads turn, and one of them says, "Yes, what of it?"
There's a demon on the loose at the palace.
Well, I hope you have a lot of gold. If you have gold, we'll consider it. And someone says, "Only demons." The other one goes, "Oh, bloody hell, I'm too drunk. I don't think I can do with demons right now."
I'm
He
sure
says,
you can.
They're not much of a threat. There's bad demons. He says, and a few heads look around, looking shocked and appalled at the response. He goes, "Fuck off! I don't need your judgment!" He looks at you. "Where's your money?"
How much money does he have?
None. He's a noble. He has people to pay for that shit.
Does he have any? Oh, well,
You get paid.
he's got any like nice jewelry?
Yeah.
There you go. Have that brooch.
Note that down.
That was Gerhardt's heirloom.
Well, it literally was.
Sorry, buddy.
Actually not, as we will see. As he looks at it.
Don't really carry cash.
The other one goes, "Oh, bloody hell. Well, it's gold, isn't it?
What I will say.
I am Goldrick Garrison. I will kill these demons for you by Grimna's bed. They will." And he gets up. "Suffer." He says, "Where are they?" And walks straight into the wall. Oh! And hits it. Oh!
This way.
Laughter from one of them at the back. "You're pissed!" And he goes, "Where's my hat?" It's attached to him by a chain. Lobs it up, misses it. Ah! "Well, lead the way."
Right you are, Master Dwarf.
Reach the door. "Elgie. What Elgie trick is this? Is this an Elgie trick?
No.
I smell Elgies. Where are they?"
Can I hear that, presumably? What I'll do is, like, it's 4 doors down, right? It's 4 doors down.
Yeah.
So I'll just go and, like, lounge in the door of the brass hole. No, like, I work there. So, of course you can smell.
Yeah.
So he comes out. "Yes, well."
Back away.
What?
And you hear from the back. "Are we doing this? I've got the gold." He says, "We've been paid. Let's do it, boys." Sorry. "Let's go." And he looks at you. Which way?"
Lead on towards the Kleiner Platz.
His feet are bare. This big. Huge feet.
Big low center of
His
gravity.
thumbnail is bigger than your palm. And it's cut in multiple places. It's a big thumbnail. His axe that he's holding has a handle that wide and that round. His hand's gripping it as it's scraping along the ground behind him.
It's
He
an
hefts it
axe
up
head.
and goes,
I think this is the name I had long to forget.
scratches at both of his eyes and goes, "Right. alley. And is sick everywhere. One of the slayers at the back pats him. The female slayer looks on. Can't hold your drink. Not done! The one with the grey hair says, "You really shouldn't be doing it like this, Gotrek. Really? You're a young man yet. We could be taking our time. Why don't we do this tomorrow?" He says, "We've taken the gold." Well, here we go then. Where are you going, by the way? Ungi, where?
The palace.
Oh, that pile.
Yes. There's a big
But we
fancy...
don't need to go inside, do we?
There's a big fancy party.
Go, Trek! We have to go inside! He says it'll probably fall on our heads!
The Emperor...
Well, we've been given the money! He says we've been given the money, we go in! Go, Trek! I warned you before, the last time we took a job inside one of their houses, it collapsed on us! Well, there was the issue of the ogre. He says, yes, there may have been an ogre, and yes, but it landed on me! Yes, well, he says, they make bad buildings. Let's go! Oh. Go, Trek, you'll be the death of me. Oh! Here's hoping! He says, as they all march their way up. Anyone else doing anything as they march away?
Well, I'm going with them.
Yep, you're going with.
We'll just.
I'll nip into leftovers and
Leading my little army of dwarfs.
seems to have worked. They're sort of on the way.
This is going to make a scene.
Do we want necessarily to be associated with it?
I say just let them have at it.
I mean, Sigismund is literally marching at the front
Yeah.
of them. Like, if you guys are chatting, he's away. He's
I'll
literally
go
marching
get
at the front
him.
of the dwarfs.
Siggy, darling, can I borrow you for a moment?
Uh-huh.
Come over here.
Out my way!
Keep
He
going.
says,
We think this might cause us to stop.
I says as he makes his
I
way
don't think
along.
he'll get any of
There's gonna be demons!
I wouldn't want to try and stop them.
But exactly, we might end up fighting the wrong people. That's what
Just
our job
go
is to
ahead
get
of
them in.
them and
That's the plan.
So,
What I was doing.
so
before
now,
I got
Go
away,
Trek!
And Sigismund will scurry in a very unheroic manner to get back up to the front of them again.
Which way?
This way?
You need one of those things on the
Yeah,
stick.
that's it.
Eventually.
The walk will sober them up, right? A little bit.
Sure.
They do their best work drunk.
Okay.
They're more like
their
artists.
only work drunk.
Therefore, by definition, they do
Their
their best
best
work
work.
drunk.
Juicy definition, they are artists.
There is, of course, an issue. At the gates of the Imperial Palace, black-clad guards, side by side with guards from Altdorf, Imperial Guard indeed, dressed in blue and red. It's fair to say they're not entirely happy with what's approaching them. And you can see panic writ clear across one of their faces as 4 crests, one of which has flopped completely down, are making their way towards them.
Sigismund will quicken his pace in hope that he can arrive a little bit before the dwarfs do.
What's this?
These fine slayers are here to slay threat that lies within the palace. I would get
What
out
threat
of the
that
way.
lies
if I
within
were
the
you.
palace? I am not aware of anything inside the palace.
Well, no, precisely, but
Out of my way, Ungi!
I would get out of the
He
way.
says, I have demons to kill! As he goes, Sigma's fucking ghost. What?
Well, exactly.
What? As the one on the other side says, demons.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
exactly.
as they all go running in.
Yeah.
Boof. Oh. And you hear from behind, nope, no, no, go trick, no. No! No! Are you sure this is wise? Just look at the way that thing's built. It's meant to... I mean, that's glass. He says, I'll admit that doesn't look so good. He says, what is this? He points at the Kleiner Palast. The palace.
It's the palace?
That's a... Today's a good day! Yes! As he moves towards it. No, go Trek! No! Go Trek! He comes after him. All right, well, here we go.
I mean, if it's any consolation, the demon that's in there is probably trying to kill the Emperor, so it's probably quite a powerful one.
They're just ignoring you. As the 4 dwarves make their way up towards the front of the palace and the guards there stop them. Go Trek, just look. On gate! He says, what it's in the way?
Out the way now. Let the dwarves through. They've got business to do.
I can't let anyone through by the Emperor's order.
Well, there's a threat to the Emperor's life. These
He says,
fine dwarfs are here
those
to...
that are designed to deal with such matters to deal with it. That'd be the Reichsguard, weren't it? Not these filthy creatures.
Reichsguard are no experts in slaying demons. You want
What
slayers to slay
demons?
demons.
There's no word of demons. Who even are you?
I am Baron Sigismund of House Jungfreud. I'll have you know. Stand aside and let these dwarves through and do their business. Attempt to leadership.
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh.
3 successes.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have supernumerate?
I don't blather.
Merry Christmas, eh?
These 4 slayers, just in case you're wondering.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, we can't. I have got a choice for you, he says. We can do this the easy way, or alternatively, we can do it the hard way. What would you prefer? I am prepared to defend the Empire.
I said, look, I have further evidence there's the threat. A witch hunter here.
I will step forward. I'm Lady Adela of Househausen. I'm also a witch hunter with a gilded boar.
Do yourself a leadership test.
It's 18. 1 success.
1 success. You
could assist.
Can't.
And this is my esteemed
Good man.
colleague.
What this fellow says is true. There is a demon, and we need all the help that we can get. To protect the
Leadership
Emperor.
test.
Oh. 5 successes.
He looks. Burps.
Impressive.
Oh my goodness, it stinks. Even those of you who are not close to it can
I'm fine.
smell it as he runs his thumb
Onions,
across
I
the edge of the blade, and blood drips out.
Herring?
Pickled herring.
Oh, that's it.
It's coming.
They decide that the best option is to escort them.
Print.
I suppose we can escort them. We can escort them. And the stomp through the palace begins. Are you sure there's any here? Says the one who is yet to speak at the back, because I don't see any demons.
Can
Says,
we
I
still
don't
feel
see
it?
any at all. He squints around, pushes his hair back up, and flops the other way. No, I don't see any at all. Is this an Elgie trick? I smell Elgie. Oh, I smell Elgie too, says Gortrek. I don't smell any demons though. And then, oh, there's something wrong though.
See.
As the older one at the back goes, yes, I. He says, oh, maybe. Reaches behind himself and pulls out 2 small throwing axes. There's something not right here, Godric. Yes, there's definitely something not right here. I think it's all of them who are looking at us. Out my way! He says he storms forward. We're here to kill demons! Oh, I see. Well, very good. Is this the show? Oh, my, look. Look at him. The way he's cutting up his thumb like that. Oh, it's quite jolly, don't you think?
Is there quite an audience?
Oh, yes. There's all manner beginning to gather as they stomp through. And of course, children. You would think that it would be an easy matter to find a demon inside a palace. Or two. But as we all know, there's only one. There's just one. And it had already found its first victim. Do you want to know what happened, children?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course you want to know.
Did
what
it eat
happened.
someone?
Yeah. But it didn't eat all of him.
Just his legs?
No. Just his innards.
Oh, I see.
All of his innards. So that he would have himself a nice sack of flesh to dawn. And he slipped in. And there. Better. And there. The good Lord watching on. I say, said the Lord, isn't this jolly? Was actually a demon. And it was delighted to see these creatures, these interesting, squat creatures with their orange crests, but it doesn't see in simple colors like you or I. No, it sees everything. A great spiraling swirl of energies, and these creatures have nothing. Dead to its senses. It could see nothing from them, and this was fascinating to it. It liked what it represented, bar one thing, the axe. It did not like the axe, and upon seeing it, decides that it would be prudent to step back and remove itself from this situation. Indeed, it was so concerned that it immediately went to find someone to eat. It was concerned it had already been spotted. It was wrong, of course. None of them realized that the demon had been there. They spent 2 hours marching around that palace, looking for the demon. The number of times they went, it must be an elf trick. There is clearly an elf involved with this. But they had been paid. And for all they complained, they continued to search top to bottom. And when they saw the circle, which probably is where they should have begun, but they did not, they realized that there was definitely something wrong. The older one shook his head. It's bad business. The other, yes, bad business. Where is the bloody thing? Unfortunately, they didn't find it immediately, at least. So what happened, children? What do you think occurred?
Did eat it more?
Yes, it did. They split up in the end to hopefully try to capture it in one place or another. This is where we can just simply say, there are some enemies that are easy to capture and others that are not. And whilst these slayers were almost perfectly placed to kill it, not one of them did. But it did kill 3 of them. Ate them and wore their flesh for a while to see what it was like. And it liked it. It liked it. And it determined that it was going to take the 4th. But the axe filled it with fear. So it chose not to, and instead, it had a conversation with him. A simple one. "Go, Trek," it said. Having eaten the mind of the dwarf that it was hiding in, it knew everything it knew. "Go, Trek," he said. "Do you think we're ever going to find it?" It was now almost the 3rd bell in the morning. Gotrek was sober, and he wasn't happy. His head was throbbing. "I'm bloody fed up of this! Where exactly is the bloody demon?" And the demon? Well, of course, it was interested. It wanted the axe. It wanted the axe. And it decided it was going to take it. Today was going to be a glorious day. Now, I don't know, children, if you know much about the nature of demons and how exactly they work. But normally they are attached somewhat to greater powers. This one, because of the mistake of its summoning, wasn't quite what everybody expected. Indeed, they had summoned something quite unfortunate, powerful, but also unsure and uncertain, new in some respects. He puts his hand down on the book. No, this was its birth. And it liked the material world. It liked this. And it liked the dwarves. So of course it did the only thing that it could. It tried to kill Godrek. Through skullduggery. Trickery. Which one of you children think it succeeded? Any of you? Says?
No.
Any of you? What do you think happened?
I think it didn't eat him, but it killed him.
Anyone else think it succeeded?
Yeah.
Well, this is what occurred. His old friend, who was now nothing more than a sack of flesh inhabited by a demon. This sack of flesh, maintained by its magic, came up behind him, sniffing the air as if it was somehow capable of sniffing the very thing within it. And it reached out its axe to fly and through and struck deep in the shoulder. But with reactions belying his size, he twisted round with rage on his face. "Found you!" he says. "Onwards unto death!" And he attacked. He carved his old friend in two, and the flesh fell apart. And with a tear in his eye, he hacked and hacked at that broken fleshy pot, wondering where the demon had gone. The demon didn't know that it had an ally, but it did. Down beneath the palace hall, a liar had re-summoned the entity. And he looked on at the entity inside the circle, and he smiled. "Got you," he said. And that, unfortunately, left poor Gotrek alone. The poor dwarf. He drank himself to a stupor, collapsed in his own vomit that night. Sold the heirloom that had been given to him for more ale and more ale, yet more friends dead. And what happened to the rest? Well, the Adorabelle. She stopped being the Adorabelle, and she returned to the brass hole, where she made many friends. Most nights, for cheap. The witch hunter. She raised her children. But the events in the palace had attracted the eyes of others. But there was a reason for that. For they had been summoned there by her husband, who sold his eldest daughter to them, and his wife. Which solved that problem, allowing him the freedom to marry someone else. Sigismund? Well, the events of that night would never truly leave him. He had acted so out of character. Or had he? And that well of doubt changed him. He paid attention more often to his mother than he had before. The only good thing that had come out of that had, and he realized little good had come out of it. He didn't see Trot again for almost 20 years. Trot, of course, didn't care one jot. He watched for a while until he grew bored. And he ended up traveling north to Outdoor with Kyoko. The pair of them traveled for 2 years together at the head of his father's mercenary company. Kyoko showed that she was far more capable than she pretended. They liked each other. Johannes Dugan, or Teugen as he fashioned himself at a later date, to make himself feel a little more noble. Well, he and that demon would get to know each other very well later. But he didn't know, not at that time. When he returned to Null later, his second attempt to get a degree, he met the most beautiful, the most charming actress, not realizing that she was merely a skin worn by a demon. They fell in love. At least one of them. Dugan still doesn't know which one loved the other more for those brief moments. The children is dead now. But he's not gone. Oh, he is not gone. Because where he went, there is no beginning and there is no end. He has already suffered his 10,000 years of torment. And he is already in Altdorf, in agony. But don't worry, children. You wouldn't ever allow yourself to be caught up in that, would you? Caught up in the business of someone like Edgar, Frank, demonologist. Never a member of the Light College. A tour adventurer who had indeed seen Araby, Nippon, Cathay, Lustria, the old world, the new world. He had been everywhere. He was in his 78th year, and he enjoyed playing the child. He enjoyed playing everyone. He found them all to be jokes. Everything about them was jokes. One day he would teach Etelka Herzen the spells that she would learn and use to destroy her enemies, the same master of Johannes Tugen when he was posing as a professor of philosophy in Null University. Jugan didn't even recognize him. There are bad people, children, which is why I tell you this tale. Because there are also good people. Indeed, I met some people just like them. Which is why I know this story. Because this story could not be seen. So I had to make a small investigation. I had to get my book close to the source. Yes, very close to the source. And now I understand that each and every one of them, the strands of freight that had been pooled to bring them together and then parted. I know who that elf is. Child of Morellian. Child of Inarian. Direct bloodline of kings and queens of old. I know the mother of that white-haired witch. He says, a Herzen, by name if not blood. And of course, the child of young Freud. The child of Tugan. The child of Kyoko, and of course, the child, he says, of Frank. I met them, all of them, on the road. I knew I recognized them somehow. I had to understand. I wished to know his character. I asked him, indeed. I spoke to the child of Teugen. I spoke to him quite clearly. Who are you? What character are you? How are you even this? And you know what he said to me? You're a bit dodgy, aren't you? Ah, children. Sometimes your own curiosity gets in the way of you. I must admit I was curious that day. I looked into them. I was lapsed in my duty. I was with a boy who I was taking to this monastery. I intended to drop him here, but I was so caught up in what they were doing, I took my eye off him. I can see everything that can be, that is, and has yet to come, but I didn't see that, for my attention was elsewhere. I regret that deeply. But I had to know, and now I do know. This is a story for all of you to take into your hearts, children. You believe yourself orphans. Look at those fools, thinking they understood who they were and where they come from. They do not. That is not so important who you come from. It is who you are. Children, be someone. Maybe one of you could be Sigmar himself. And just as he says that, all of them hear, the hammer has fallen! And the one with the broken leg all wrapped up with scrolls falls over, eyes glowing yellow for a brief moment. And everyone in the temple knows that Sigmar has been reborn. We're not going to end it there, though, because everybody had themselves a marvelous set of missions that they had to try and do. So let's run through those super quickly, and we're going to start at this end. There's a lot.
Yeah, he's Sigismund and you're Choygan's. That's what he said.
It is indeed what I said.
That's what he said. Don't at me, bro. Don't at me, bro.
Does that mean Sigismund is a beastman? I'm so confused.
Well, maybe it meant that
Shadow
other guy
Leopold.
lied.
Yeah.
Anyway, my tasks were
What are your tasks?
to get Joros's advice.
Tick.
Managed it twice.
Yeah, tick, tick.
Fawn over Zenicar Trot, especially a really inappropriate moment.
Yeah.
Anyone feel that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, super inappropriate.
And act like she was completely drunk, and in do drunk things at completely inappropriate moments.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
I was sick on the Emperor's feet. Come on. Like,
I'm calling that away.
Penis.
yeah, he's wearing it.
Act like she was drunk. Called it. Just say it. Just say it.
Yeah.
How about yourself? What were yours?
So I achieved half of what I set out to do.
Okay, what do we
Because
have?
I didn't get the opportunity to admit that would probably be good to give up on witch hunting and focus on the family. I thought there would be an opportunity.
I expected one
No,
too.
I think
Yeah.
you said that.
Did I?
Well, I got that. No, genuinely, when we were having our whole side chat,
Yeah.
you were like all about your family and children.
Was I
You
explicit
weren't maybe
enough
didn't.
What's your next one?
My next one is obviously I'm a witch hunter of the Order of the Gilded Boar, and if I knew about demons, I wanted to track anything responsible for summoning them, stop, destroy, identify, resolve it, track them down.
Yep.
Hey, Andy.
I had to punch someone in the face.
Mission accomplished.
That was my first mission.
Wait,
My
you
second,
said, did you though?
my second mission was to punch more than one person in the face. And my third mission was for one of those people to be a PC.
Good job.
I was really weirded out because he said, "Oh, some people have you've all got lots of missions." I thought, I've only got really sort of one. Now I know.
Yeah.
So I had to do a thing and then just give up on it.
Did we?
I think I did it multiple times, but for example, our bet on whether we could philosophize and then punch each other.
I haven't ever done that.
You totally gave up on the Adorable. I was pretty
I gave
disappointed,
up
to
on
be
that as
honest.
well.
And Dancing with the Emperor's Daughter.
I gave up on so much stuff.
Yep, nice.
Yeah, he was very
Don't
despondent.
do things.
Giving up or being rejected.
Yeah,
quite
either
the
either. I had to try and punch somebody that had been punched.
Nice.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think I did twice.
Did twice.
Yeah.
You didn't actually punch me though.
No. And then I don't know about this one. I think narratively this happened, but I don't know if it actually, because I didn't get the
Spill it
point to
out.
say it, which is to quit uni or find a reason to quit uni, which I think there's a fair of them around. If we'd gotten to the position of doing that, was basically going, what's the point in learning philosophy because it's bullshit when there's all this magical crap floating around. Yeah.
I thought that the point at which he would have been like, he looked so pissed off was when he was like, yeah, he doesn't need to go, his dad just buys it. And you were like, well, fuck this uni shit.
Well, I was trying to find something else to replace the uni, right?
Yeah,
Which is,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
get to the money point, basically.
Hey, Sage, how'd you do?
So I had to have sex with someone.
Nice. Sure.
Check. Then also have sex with somebody else. And then extra bonus points if it was a PC.
I helped.
I helped. That's just the end.
Okay, slightly more complicated.
I had 5 missions.
Oh.
Number 1, get someone to punch me.
Number 1,
I was
blood.
surprisingly easy. Have someone make a life-changing decision, which is what I was going for with him to try and quit philosophy.
Yeah.
Did it succeed?
Actually, we just didn't get to the end point
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
that's when we could do it.
I don't know
Yeah.
where it goes.
In
The seed
progress.
was sown. The seed was
Yeah.
In
definitely sown.
progress.
I had to get someone to give something up.
Mm-hmm.
Sigismund punching people.
I didn't really like doing it, and then you stopped doing it.
After we had the conversation.
Yeah, but every time then I say,
Yes and, not no but. Yes and.
you can take the credit for the 2 Imperial Guards who were eyeball women. Absolutely. You can take
I'm
the
loving
credit.
that.
So my 4th mission, get 2 Imperial Guard. No. My 4th one, I definitely didn't do because Yume was not, or sorry, Kyoko was not following his advances for the nipping. Was sleep with someone, especially a PC.
Was that you trying to sleep?
That was him putting the charm on. He's a very rakish man.
That wasn't charm, that was negging.
No
He's
one-
a pickup artist.
No one else had to use any charm with you, mate. They were just like, want to shag? Alright, go. Kyoko, sorry. And then my last one.
ask.
You forgot to ask. You would have said yes.
I think just do you fancy a roll?
Shag?
Yeah, sure.
My last one was to basically lead them and bring them to the ritual and have them say the incantations.
Success. So, not complete success all round. So the fate point has not been secured.
I'd say 4 out of 5. As
Ain't
Meatloaf
bad.
said, 2 out of 3, so 4 out of 5 is even better.
Yeah.
And there's 6 of us.
That's it. It's like a double meatloaf.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going down the meatloaf route,
And he's dead, so it's
it
in
ain't
memory
bad.
of Meatloaf.
However,
R.I.P.
I shall excuse me when I tot
not.
up the result.
No, not
Cost yourself a fate point.
Carry on.
You've got to get over a certain amount. I'm just adding it up.
Well,
Well, there's
actually,
also
no.
can I?
He did say he shagged
He did.
Alamena wife
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
That's why he got
It
punched.
happened pre-stream.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't count if it happens before. Got to happen during the show. You're not getting the extra
But
point.
Can I maybe console people though?
Oh, yes.
Like a little note that I wrote down myself, which is if we get a fate point, it's because we did what the demon wanted us to do, right? we all get that, right? Like, it's not necessarily a good thing that we get this fate point.
Andy.
No, it's a good thing. I want it. There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Nice.
That's unnerving. Okay.
I wrote it in a rainbow pen though, so that it would be particularly.
Couple of rainbow feathers.
It's gone away.
Right, let me just add up again. Sorry, I got lost because I got too caught up by being an angel. You actually did really well as a group. So, what do we get? Beyond your individual benefits that you will get when we do our character rejig, which we will not note down then. You don't get the fate point for doing everything, but you do get 1 each for your total. So everyone has 1 extra fate point. Merry Christmas, everyone! Ba-dum, bum, bum. And with that, we say thank you very much. Christmas episodes are crazy. That was fun. Next week, it's going to be much more. What happened to Nubersreich on Hexenstag? Man, it's going to be potentially grim, or potentially political, or potentially revealing. We will find out next week on LAWhammer.
Shake the bells.
Jingle, jingle,
Jingle,
jingle.
jingle, 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 jingle.